Next man up, 1025, The Game, Jake Lyman, joined by Cory Curtis from News 2 for his usual Wednesday appearance on the program. Parker Kelly behind the glass. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Got a fun show planned for today. Plenty of Titans talk as we continue to look back at their 22-21 win over the Cardinals, snapping that 10-game losing streak and getting to 1-4 on the year, looking to build off that this weekend against Las Vegas. We'll talk some college football. We'll talk some Predators as they start their season tomorrow. Cory, thanks for coming in. How's it going?
I am a delight. Thank you. Oh, my sunglasses are here. I lost those.
Oh, there you go. You know,
Yay.
every week you can come back and find something new.
It's like grab bag.
Yeah. You mentioned when you came into the studio, both our baseball teams are on the brink today.
Yeah, the Cubs and the Tigers.
Let's hope that they can get it done.
Look, even if the Cubs do win today, the Brewers are better. And this is me as a Cubs. The Brewers are better than they are.
Yeah.
And they're going to win the series. I know that. I'm just glad I got revenge for 1984 and I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, I am kind of the same way, that I'm happy the Tigers were able to end the Guardians season after the Guardians came all the way back and stole the division from them. But the Mariners are a better team. Tigers, you're facing a pitcher with a 5.5 ERA today, and if you win, Scooble goes in Game 5. So I'm not completely giving up, but I am not exactly optimistic that they're going to win this series. But anyway, baseball going on all day today, starting at 2:00. Football going on all week long. I believe today I saw starts a stretch of 40-something days in a row with either a college football game
Middle Tennessee plays
right.
tonight.
Middle Tennessee State plays tonight.
Yeah.
So you've got 6 straight weeks with football every single night, whether it's college football or the NFL. Titans getting ready for their game.
Balance in the universe.
Right. This is the season we love. We're getting close to the sports equinox where we've got hockey now. Basketball starts in a couple of weeks.
Football.
Football, baseball. So
NASCAR.
Right. NASCAR playoffs still going on.
Yeah.
So lots to be excited about. Titans are in Las Vegas this weekend looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since November of 2022. That game on Sunday, Cory, there are really no words to describe how strange that game was.
Yeah.
I was telling Parker on Monday how I had written out our plan for the show at halftime because it was the same old story. It was Cam Ward was inaccurate with the football, and Brian Callahan struggled at the end of the first half to make the right decisions. And I was like, all right, let's just put a show together. The Titans, they got about as many breaks as you could possibly get from the Cardinals, but you got to give them credit. They had the opportunity to go win the game at the very end, and they did.
You didn't like his decision at halftime?
Going for it on fourth and 10 after your offense hadn't done anything all day.
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly.
No, you weren't there.
I would have said, punt it and if they're going to go get 3 points in the final 40 seconds, make them go 45 yards.
I need to go back and look at what the play sequence was on that, and what they did.
Yeah.
And what was available to the quarterback.
Right. That's the question.
Yes.
But I mean, he was 5 of 16 at that point throwing the football. And then obviously the play that clearly the protection wasn't set right, and Screamer comes off the edge.
You mean when Tajay decided to whiff?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't good. And that's on Spears. Look, I understand, but you're 0-4 and you're showing no real signs of life on offense.
Right.
You need a shot. It didn't work, so it doesn't look good. But the defense did its job. It came out.
That's true,
and got the stop. If we're gonna pick on everything that the coaching staff does that doesn't work, then we're gonna pick on a lot.
Well,
because right now there's not a lot, with the players that's worked.
I will say that I was saying, Brian, what are you doing as they broke the huddle?
Oh,
so
okay.
it was.
I thought it was a coin flip.
I was. With the way the offenses had played and where you were on the field, where all they would have needed was, you were down 15 at that point. A field goal makes it a 3-score game. My thought process was like, why give them 10 yards to get into field goal range with your offense struggling as badly as it has? Hindsight's 2020.
Your offense is struggling as bad as it has, and you're in position to possibly score. we're gonna take our shot.
Right. And, somebody texted when I was making this point on Monday and was like, you criticize him when he's too conservative going into the half, and then you criticize him when he's too aggressive. I think it's just like have a feel for the situation.
I think there's, I wasn't arguing. I was disagreeing with Easton Freeze.
Yeah.
On the I would have kicked the extra point just like the Titans did.
Yeah.
Because it has been such a struggle, and now you've got some momentum going your way. I want to make it a one-score game for sure. I want to make it a one-score game and put the pressure on them. Now your kicker blew it, but he should make that kick 99 times out of 100.
Right.
All right. And so that's why. That is why I want to put the pressure on them of knowing you're now in a one-score game. I understand the argument for it being for going for two. I do understand it, but like you're talking about, games are organic living beings.
Right.
And so in that situation, and I'm not going to say I would be that way for every situation, but in that situation, I would have taken the one.
Yeah, and I was saying go for two as it was happening, but somebody did send us, I guess they had like the analytics chart of like what is the best thing to do when you're down by 9, down by 8, down by 7, and it was about as close to 50-50 as you could down by 9. So
yeah,
I get it. Like it's gonna go one way or the other. Callahan said this week that's how they're going to handle it.
Yeah, he said that basically like the rest of the way they'll kick it.
Right. If that's your philosophy and that's what you think is going to be the best thing to keep your team in position to come back in a football game, then go ahead. In my mind, I was thinking they should have gone for two, but if you're going to be consistent with it and that's how you feel like you should play it, then by all means go for it. But strange game. Titans, the benefit of 3
untouched fumbles.
Each of the fumbles got stranger.
Well,
right?
I mean, because they had nothing to do with any of them.
Right. They did not
lay a hand,
force any fumbles in this game.
They did not touch the ball or touch the ball carrier in any of those 3 situations.
I mean, the center just firing the snap off of Kyler Murray's face.
We have seen that before.
Yes.
But it was funny.
The center was the only person on the field who thought that the snap should have gone off at that point. And it clearly surprised everybody on the Cardinals side.
Okay. We have all given Draymond Jones a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
He did get pressure several times in that football game, and he won on he was alert, and on the snap he took off, and he was able to make that play. And I know we say, well, the Cardinals did this. Draymond Jones didn't sleep on that play.
That's a 3-point play right there by Draymond Jones, because the Cardinals fall on that. They're still in field goal range, and that's the difference in the game.
And the other thing is they had made several plays to put themselves in that long position. The defense had come through to because they had, I think they were in the red zone 1st and 10 to start that drive. Not to start that drive. They had gotten inside the red zone and they got pushed out, and then they were in a 3rd and long, and again, there is no excuse for what the Cardinals did, but when you do some of the right things, you put people into bad positions.
Yep.
And part of that is putting them into a bad position. I mean, it's not a horrible position, but it's not 3rd and 1. It's not 3rd and 2. You put them into a 3rd and long, and they're a bad football team, and they made a mistake.
And the Titans will take all of the breaks they can get. I know a lot of everybody talks about Rand Carthon, and the ball didn't bounce our way.
No.
In terms of the ball bouncing your way, it couldn't have gone much better for the Titans on Sunday against Arizona.
It all balances out.
I mean, DeMarcado dropping the ball at the goal line. Did you see Gannon got fined for the whole thing there?
Yeah, and I know people say he put his hands on him. I didn't see anything egregious there. I didn't see anything violent. When I was in high school, I had a coach crack a clipboard over my head. I had the helmet on, but he smashed it to bits over my head. And I just thought I better shut up.
Yeah.
I didn't think the coach did anything wrong. I thought I was talking when I shouldn't have been.
I think it was the fact that it was done right out in front of everybody. And that,
he just said what 60,000 other people wanted to say.
Right. But because there was a video of it that went viral, and if he had done that in the locker room after the game, obviously nothing would have come of it. But,
I'm not buying it. I don't think it was that bad.
I think $100,000.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Gannon will be fine.
Right.
And I think it's a knee jerk, but I'm probably on the wrong side of this. And I am one of who usually leans the other way of being respectful of other people in their
Yeah.
space. But I also realize that football is a different world, and it could be an emotional, physical confrontation world. And, occasionally coaches, I mean, imagine if they had these fines for Mike Ditka. He would have gotten fined out of the league. I remember one game where he grabbed Emery Moorhead by the jersey and threw him on the field.
I mean, it is a different world now of what you can get away with and what you can't. Jonathan Gannon apologized for it.
He said he apologized to the team, and to me, that should have been enough.
Right. $100,000 is steep. And I was saying yesterday that I didn't like it from Gannon, and I think it's because I think Gannon's kind of corny, like from what you've seen from him. Like in general, I'm just not a huge Jonathan Gannon fan. But yeah, $100,000 steep fine for what happened.
What's he make? $5 million a year?
I mean, I'm sure it's a drop in the bucket for
okay.
him. But and second time in just a couple of weeks that a player dropping the ball at the goal line has ended up costing them the game.
So close to
right. I mean, you look at the replay.
I'm surprised they overturned it.
Me too. I didn't know if it was clear and convincing that he dropped it.
I mean, I thought it's that one where I think he did it.
Right.
Are you 100% sure?
It's like I kind of felt like what was called on the field was going to stand.
I think the officials just said, "This is so stupid. We're going to take it from him."
Yeah, and it's also one of those plays where usually you don't call that a fumble on the field, right? Like you call it a touchdown, and then you look back at it after.
It happens so fast. I mean, like the Adonai Mitchell one, he fumbled the transfer.
Right.
So it's up in the air.
Actually a fumble.
Yeah, you see it up in the air. And there's other ones where you see him just kind of flip it.
Yeah.
And this one, it kind of just like scoots out of his hand.
Right.
So it's not like a real violent.
When did he lose control was the question. Because it looked he was obviously still maybe not holding the ball, but he had contact with the ball while he crossed the plane. It was just about where he lost control.
Yes.
Lots of crazy stuff in that game on Sunday, but it led to a Titans win again for the first time since November of last year. The Titans have not gotten back-to-back wins since November of 2022.
The Patriots had the same stat, and they ended it Monday night.
Yes.
It had been since 2022 since they'd won 2 games.
So opportunity on Sunday. Raiders are 1-4. They're coming off a 40-6 loss against the Colts.
Really struggling. 9 interceptions.
9 times.
Yeah. He's got the Ferris Bueller.
He does.
Yeah, that's bad.
9 times?
9
times.
Yep.
And the Titans will look to take advantage on Sunday. Cam Ward needs to look more like he did in the fourth quarter on Sunday.
Yep.
He had a couple of tough games in a row, a tough game against the Texans, tough first half against Arizona. Did something click for the young quarterback? We'll talk about that coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis with you today. You can text or call on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. We'll dive into Cam Ward's performance coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. That was Brian Callahan on Monday talking about Cam Ward and the ability to throw a more catchable ball for his receivers.
Yeah.
And that was something Cory and I were talking about during the break. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Cam Ward, through 6 quarters from the Texans game through the first half of the Cardinals game, was 15 for 42 throwing the football for a little over 160 yards.
And that's barely over 33%.
Yes. And the what everybody's going to bring up is, well, his receivers aren't helping him out. They're dropping the football. He also wasn't making it easy for his receivers.
Well, they're not dropping 30% of his passes.
Right. Yes. And like, even if it gets you up to 50 in that span, it's still not very good.
No.
And there is a difference between throwing egregiously inaccurate passes. Like we saw CJ Stroud in that Texans game. Airmailed it over Dalton Schultz for a would-be touchdown.
I always remember Josh Allen his rookie year. Couldn't hit a barn.
Like, not close.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that and ball placement, which Cam Ward was struggling with, where a couple of third downs early in that game against the Cardinals on Sunday, he puts that a little too far for Alec Iamaner. And it's like, yeah, could Alec have caught that pass? Sure.
Could it have been better?
Could it have been on him and make it an easy conversion for a first down into the red zone?
There's room for both.
Right.
There's
Same thing with Tyler Lockett a couple of drives later, where the ball's a little bit behind him.
Yep.
Should he have caught it? Maybe. But if you put it out in front of him a little bit, not only does he have the first down, he had some room to run.
Yeah.
And Cam Ward struggled with that for the better part of the Texans game and most of the Cardinals game. And it seemed like he started to have something click. And the question becomes, can he continue that into the Raiders game? In the final couple of drives against the Cardinals, he was making good decisions and he was putting the ball exactly where it needed to be for his guys. He was putting the ball on the right shoulder to Gunnar Helms so that when he caught it at the sticks, he could turn and run. Same thing with Chig on the play right before the Calvin Ridley play down the sideline. Like, it seemed like something clicked for Cam Ward where everything was coming together. He was making the right decisions and he was putting the ball where it needed to be. Can he be more consistent with that moving forward?
He had good protection. That's where it starts. Okay. So he's able to plant his feet and throw the football. But if you also notice, it started coming out faster.
Yep.
I mean, he made his first read. If the guy was open, he delivered the football. He put it on him. Whether they got 3 yards or they got 7 yards or they got 12 yards, they got yards.
Yes.
They kept the ball moving forward. And again, it was a rhythm. He dropped back, he read, he released, he put it on him. And, you know, where it seems to run into trouble is when they drop back, hold on to it, looking for something. And again, he's going to create in those scenarios. I'm not naive. I'm not stupid to that. But I'm just saying there's a time and a place. And I know this is kind of a common theme this week with this conversation, but there's a time and a place. The offense needs to have some rhythm and they need to be on the field. Okay. And so first down is not the time and the place for a lot of the shenanigans. Okay. First down is the time to move the ball forward. I keep bringing up the game-winning drive because everybody points to the Ridley throw, and it was outstanding, and it won the game without question.
Yep.
But what were the 4 plays before that? 3 yards to Pollard. 3 yards to Pollard, 4 yards to Pollard, 7 yards to Helm, 15 yards to Chig. Okay. It was dink, dink, bam, first down, bam, another first down. All right. And they happened like that.
Yep.
And they were all first read. And he got the ball out and he put it in a catchable spot. Pollard I thought had a chance on the second one, maybe get a couple more yards, but you're in 3rd and 3. So you're still in a situation in a 4-down game at that point where you only need 3 yards and you got 2 downs to do it.
Exactly.
Because you kept the ball moving forward. You put it on him and you kept things going. And by putting it on him, also, you gave him a chance to get out of bounds, which is important as well. And so I think, that rhythm, that quickness, that trust, there's that trust of seeing it, ripping it, trusting my guy to catch it, and then trusting my guy to make a play with the football. There's other play in the game where Chig makes the catch.
Yeah, what a move.
Dips his shoulder, 2 guys bite, and he goes to the outside. I mean, that's a short throw that all of a sudden becomes a nice gain. And they can do more of that, especially, at the tight end position. But when you can complete 70% of your pass, we've been talking about completion percentage for a few weeks. You saw the difference when they start completing some passes. And it is the whole thing. It's the protection, it's the receivers, and it's the quarterback. All three play into it. It's not one is not scot-free on this, okay? It's all of them, and they all came together, and they all need to continue to come together.
Yes, the offensive issues have been caused by a lot of different things, but it did feel like they finally found some rhythm. And it's not like you're going to play the entire game against the Raiders in a 2-minute tempo, because
I mean, you could,
but they're probably not going to.
No.
You just wonder if Bo Hardigree and Brian Callahan and Nick Holtz, can they kind of take an element of that made Cam Ward feel comfortable and apply that to their typical game plan that they're going to run for all 60 minutes.
Well, and I just hope for Cam Ward, there's some proof of concept there.
Right.
That I can throw underneath and still get yards and still move this team and then take my shots.
Yep.
And, because again, there's a time and there's a place. And so, I would hope we see that willingness. And that, because look, if they're at 35% completion percentage at halftime, they're going to be down 2 touchdowns again.
Yes.
They have got to complete some passes. And I don't care if they're 5-yard passes or 15-yard passes. You've got to complete some passes. 2 5-yard passes moves the chains. And I'm not saying to become check down Charlie. I hate that. I hate it. But it also opens up things for when you do want to take your shots down the field.
It's about picking and choosing your spots. And you also saw that they did line up some deep shots for him to get it to Chimdike down the field. Cam missed them. Those are plays that you have to hit too.
2 long shots where you hit Ridley.
Right. And so Cam Ward, I think you saw towards the end of the game that he was more willing to not hunt the deep ball and just take what the defense gave him.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's something that clicked or if it was just,
and on the 2 deep ones to Ridley, he's open on both of them.
Right.
He's open. They're both great throws.
Phenomenal. Right.
Throws.
I mean, the one up on the post to Calvin Ridley with Budda Baker carrying him down the field. And you can see on the film, I saw a breakdown of this. The second that Budda Baker starts to take the dig underneath, Cam Ward was already.
But Ridley puts his hand up.
Right.
He's like, throw it.
And
he's like, I got him. Throw it.
And Ward was ready and let it rip right over Budda Baker's head and put it right where it needed to be. So that is what you want to see from your first overall pick quarterback.
Great throw.
And Kyle on the text line, I think, makes a good point. What still really excites me about Cam is the issues that we see are the kind of issues that are fixable. Yeah. In my mind, he's ahead of the curve 5 games into his career. And I think that's a good point because what we're seeing from Cam, it's not like you're seeing the ability isn't there. Like with a guy like Kenny Pickett, I think you saw from Kenny Pickett that the arm strength and the physical traits just weren't there.
Danny Werfel.
Right. You can see it. You're like, all right, that guy doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. Cam Ward looks like an NFL quarterback. Yeah. It's just about getting him into a spot where he understands where he needs to go.
There's a lot of Favre in there.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was young, I remember Favre coming up, running all over the place, trying to throw into coverage, and he threw a ton of picks. I mean, like way more picks than Cam's thrown.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like, what are you doing? Because he's just trying to do it all. And Favre had to learn to not try to do it all. He picked his time and his place, later in his career. But you just there's a happy medium to everything. And, there's just a learning curve there to Cam. What I would especially agree with that statement about Cam is the most important thing is that when it was money time,
right,
it wasn't too big for him.
Yeah.
He rose to the occasion. And that's not every quarterback can do that. Trevor Lawrence rose to the occasion Monday night. That has always been my criticism of Trevor Lawrence, is that with the ball in his hands with 2 minutes to go, I'm feeling really good on defense.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that was a huge step forward for Trevor Lawrence. To see Cam do it in his rookie year, I don't care who you're playing. That's great. That's great.
2 out of his first 5 games, Cam Ward has gotten a chance to go win or tie a game late. And I would argue that's both of those drives are the best he's looked. Is that the
2-minute drill?
Yeah. Obviously this past week against the Cardinals, and then the Broncos drive at the end where he hit 3 guys in the hands for big plays and they dropped them. I would argue those are probably the 2 best drives that he's had. Even though obviously the Broncos one didn't really lead to any results.
Yeah, that's arguably the best defense in the National Football League too. They're leading the league in sacks again.
Yes.
That's a tough challenge.
They did get 6 of those against the Titans.
But he's sitting 6 against Jalen Hurts against the Super Bowl champs.
That is true.
So he's at 51.8%.
Right.
And like, even if you factor in drops, he's still not going to be over 60. Okay. I harp on this every week. The goal, you want him to be up close to 70, but he needs to be at 60. He needs to be at 60.
Right.
And if he's not at 60, they're going to have a hard time winning. And that's not just to say throw 3 dump downs, to get your completion percentage up. It's a strategic attack and a matriculation down the field. Okay. Time and place. All right. Because, I could tell you, you can watch Matt Stafford or Joe Burrow or any of these guys, and they're all taking the 5-yard throw on first down all day long. When the Patriots were rolling, how many passes did Kevin Falk catch?
Yeah.
1 trillion.
Right.
How many passes did Gronk catch?
Wes Welker too. It's like it's not like he was.
Wes Welker's not streaking 30 yards down the
right.
field.
It's the little like zig out and
5
go
yards
get 5.
Slant in, goes down, he gets 8. And and you're going to get big plays, and you're going to get big plays off of those plays. But 2nd and 5, this is a familiar drumbeat for me. 2nd and 5 is a really good place to be.
Yeah, and I think you're right about maybe Cam Ward now having that proof of concept of like, hey, we had 3 drives in the 4th quarter, and every time we just matriculated our way down the field. And, one of the touchdowns was a little less conventional than the others, but you ended up scoring 3 times and winning that football game.
I think PK had the stat yesterday, and if I'm wrong, I apologize to whoever else did, that it was like 42 games or something like that between 16-point quarters for the Titans.
Wow. Yeah, I think I did see that. The last one was like 2022.
I can't remember. I don't remember.
It popped up on my Twitter too.
I think it was Paul.
But,
but whoever had it, that's an amazing number.
Yep. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We will get to your phones. The Blue Raiders will take on Missouri State tonight at 6:30 p.m. Catch all of the action on Totally Hits 93.3 with coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Cory brought up a good point to me when we were planning the show about Cam Ward's completion percentage isn't very good, but it's been better when he's targeted his tight ends. We will talk about that a lot better, significantly better. We will talk about that coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. That was Brian Callahan on Monday. He went into some special teams penalty stuff there, but also some tight end talk, which is what we're going to get into next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday. The Titans tight ends have been one of the bright spots in terms of the passing game.
Yeah,
where
in pass catching, not necessarily blocking.
Right. I don't know if anyone would describe Gunnar Helm and Chigakonkwo as some of the best blocking tight ends in the league.
I think we'll call them willing participants.
Yeah, you're right. Like I've seen Gunnar against the Texans. He went out and chipped Will Anderson pretty well a couple of times.
Well, this is a guy who was a wide receiver when he got to college.
Yes.
So it's a work in progress.
But in terms of what they've been able to do in the passing game, we're looking at the completion percentage from Cam Ward and how it needs to get a little bit higher. With the tight ends, that hasn't been an issue. Those guys have pretty much caught everything that's been thrown their way.
Well, and Sunday was the epitome of it. Okay. Sunday, 8 for 10. 8 for 10. 10 targets, 8 catches, and one of those non-catches was a drop by Gunnar.
Yeah.
Okay. For the season, Cam is at 51.8%. For the season, those two tight ends, 75.6%. And could be higher because there was the overrule in the opener. And then there's a couple of drops in there.
Yeah, Chig has at least a drop or two. Gunnar Helm has one drop.
You put two, you reverse two of those, and you're now at 30 for 37.
Yes.
All right. And so look, they had 10 targets last week. I think that needs to kind of be a baseline. Those guys, they don't need just to be a target in the fourth quarter. They need to be a target when the game starts. All right. That's what helps move you down the field consistently. And so, when because we talked about it from the get-go that Cam is good over the middle at the hashes to the tight ends. And so we thought that's where they were going to kind of live.
Yep.
And they haven't. And, so I would like to see these numbers grow. The other game, I think it was the Colts game. They had 8 catches on 9 targets. That game was obviously not a very good game, but that was the other game where they scored 20 points.
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
So, in games where they've put 20 plus points on the board, the tight ends have caught 8 passes in each of those 2 games. And they're clearly throws that he is comfortable making because he is completing them at a high percentage. And, again, part of this for me is keeping your offense on the field because the defense has been on the field so much. They need drives. I mean, I don't know what their 3 and out percentage is. I know you can look that number up. I have not, but it's got to be among the league leaders, okay, of 3 and out on offense. And, if they can incorporate those guys, and yes, I will bang the drum that they both need to play at the same time. They need to play more 12 personnel, especially this week with Max Crosby on the field. They need to have a tight end over there to help out whoever's got him, whether it be J.C. Latham, Udo, or Dan Moore. But I think they could put both those guys on the field, and you get Chig on a linebacker, you get Helm on a safety, and those are physical mismatches because Chig is fast and Helm is really tall,
right,
and has a huge catch radius. You put a 6-foot guy on Gunnar Helm, and he's got an 18-inch probably radius over that guy, to catch the football. And so and that gives Cam places to put the ball. And like we talked about with Chig, you can see what he can do. We've seen for years what he can do after the catch. They need more opportunities. And the other layer to this, Jake, is what's the percentage for the wide receivers then?
Yes.
Okay. Lockett, Iomanner, Ridley. Completion percentage, 45%.
Not good.
45. All right. That's Anthony Richardson territory.
Yep.
That's not anything you want to be talking about. And I am certainly not saying to stop throwing those guys the football, but throw higher percentage throws to your tight end and wait to throw higher percentage throws to your receivers to where you can complete a higher percentage of them, because that's not all drops. All right. 45% is not all drops.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it probably gets above 50% if you add the drops in, but
yeah, maybe
still not 60, which is, again, that's where you want to be. You want to see those higher percentage throws all across the board, obviously.
Yeah.
But to the tight ends, especially, we talked about a play before we went on air of early in that game against the Cardinals where Cam's rolling out. He's got Chig flashing in front of his face, wide open. Maybe a 6-yard gain. Instead, Cam was looking down the field for Alec Iamaner and had to just tuck it and run for a yard out of bounds.
Yes.
It's like 2nd and 4 is a lot better than 2nd and 9.
Give him the ball, man.
And
give him the ball.
And guess what? We saw that move Chig made in the 4th quarter. Like, who knows? You get him the ball in space. Maybe he makes somebody miss, and it's a 15-yard gain.
Yeah.
And
we saw it in Houston. He's running across, catches it. He goes 70.
Yes. And the Titans, I would hope, are going to start looking to use the tight ends now that you've got Tajay Spears back. Get him open in space. See if
just
he can,
not in pass protection.
Not in pass protection, no. But if you can get him on a screen, which I know screens have not worked out for the Titans.
They had a very nice first down screen to Chig.
They did get a screen to work on Sunday.
He went for like 15 yards. It was very well blocked. And you know what the other part of that is Cam put it right on him.
Yep.
Put it right on the numbers, right between the 8 and the 5, and he caught it and turned it straight up the field.
And we'll see if this ends up, if the success that you had late in that game on Sunday can maybe rewire the way you're going to call plays moving forward. Because I think you saw, again, the proof of concept for Cam Ward of like, hey, we can run the offense this way and actually score points.
You're not the Bengals. You don't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yep.
You don't. This is your team. This is what you've got. And this is what your team does well.
Yes.
You have to play to your strengths. You play to your strengths, and then you hope to grow from there. But I can tell you right now, just by looking at these numbers, this is what this team does well. This is what Cam does well right now. All right? And Cam's going to do a lot more things a lot better in the future. But right now, the thing they need to do is complete passes.
Yeah, and you look at 30% difference between targeting the tight ends versus the wide receivers, and you look at the average yards per catch for these. Yes, Calvin Ridley's averaging 18 yards a catch. Alec Iamaner's 12. But guess what? Chig's 10, Gunner's 9. It's like you complete those passes, they're still going for pretty big yardage and getting you closer to the sticks, which it's important. And I'd like to see Cam Ward targeting those guys more often. Again, Gunnar Helm only with.
And I'd like to see them both on the field more often.
Yes.
So there's room for coaches to embrace it, and there's room for Cam to embrace it.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's quickly go to Trey on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Trey, thanks for calling. What you got for us this morning?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Great, Trey. Great to hear from you again.
Hey, I just wanted to say that if we could get more out of Tony Pollard and Sharp instead of, giving the ball to him first and second down, the defense know that we're going to give the ball to Tony and Sharp in the first and second down. In the beginning of the game, we're losing possessions doing that. And like Cory said and what y'all said, they need to start doing things different than just handing the ball off to Tony and them, because that's untrustworthy, because we be behind the sticks too much doing those little rinky-dink plays. And what y'all think? Do y'all think the running backs need to give Cam more opportunities as far as opening up the play action? And y'all have a good day. Thank you for taking my call. Stay blessed.
Thank you, Trey.
You.
Okay, a couple things. That argument, has always been made. Teams want to establish the run early. Okay, because that does set up a play action.
Yep.
The problem the Titans have had is they haven't been able to stay on the field because they haven't been able to complete enough passes. What's Tony Pollard's average yards per carry? 4.0. All right. That's not terrible. That's not great. That's kind of
league average.
It's league average. And so could they get a little bit more out of it? Yeah. He would also get more carries if they could stay on the field. All right. So he needs more carries. They need to complete more passes to stay on the field and set up more play action shots. I mean, you saw play action shots in that game.
Cam just missed them.
And he made some. And he made some.
But the two that they kind of set up.
He had a big one to Ridley right off the bat to the left side.
Right, yeah, the comeback route.
They went play action. He's open, and he put it on him. And again, pass protection is all a part of that as well. But, if you can freeze those safeties, you can open some things up. But it all plays together. I'm never going to hate running the football. It is a critical part of the game. And actually the NFL's kind of coming back towards that now.
Yeah.
because a lot of these speed rushers on the outside.
Right. And the linebackers have gotten smaller and faster.
Yes, exactly. And so people are going to start running at those guys more. And so, the Titans are only averaging, I think, like 85 yards a game running the football.
That sounds right.
But their yards per carry isn't bad. It's because they're not getting enough carries because they're not running enough offensive plays. All right. And so if they can complete some more passes, they can stay on the field more, they can set up more shots with play action. If they can do it, it all feeds off of each other. I sound like a coach. I'm sorry, but he's not 100% wrong.
Right.
But like everything, there's layers to it.
Yeah. It's like, you got to be unpredictable, but you also do have to establish the run. Like, you don't want to run the ball on first down every time, but you do have to run the ball on first down sometimes.
The basics of the NFL is this: imposing your physical will on your opponent.
Yep.
And if you can do that at the line of scrimmage, and the Titans are now doing a better job of it up front on the offensive side, they're allowing fewer sacks. The rest of the offense needs to support that. That's and that'll be tested again this week with Max Crosby.
Yes, Max Crosby, one of the best pass rushers in football. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Talking Titans offense, we'll wrap up our conversation on the tight ends after this. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, wrapping up hour number 1. Hang with Titans fans, including the crew from 102.5 The Game at Overhang Bar at Circa in Las Vegas. Drink specials are included, plus giveaways, including 2 tickets to the Titans-Raiders game. Go to circalasvegas.com for more information. Wrapping up our conversation on the Titans offense and specifically the way the tight ends have gotten involved. You mentioned the 3-and-out percentage. Michael and Madison did the research for us here on the text line. He says they have the second worst 3-and-out percentage in the league, only behind the Philadelphia Eagles, who have the worst in football.
And I think right now the Titans have the worst pass attack in the league, and the Eagles are the second worst.
Yep.
So again, 2 teams having trouble completing passes, and they can't stay on the field. And I'm not blaming it all on Cam Ward. All right, it's a team thing, but they got to complete more passes and they got to stay on the field.
Right. It is a joint effort from everybody. From everybody. There's been too many drops. There's not enough separation for the receivers at times. The protection actually has gotten a lot better since early in the season. And
he had some really nice pockets to throw to, and even the interception that turned into the touchdown.
He didn't have to get out.
I'm like, where are you going, man? You got 4 blockers right in front of you.
And I will say, bad decision from Cam Ward.
He was shooting for Ridley in the end zone, right?
I think it's a touchdown if it doesn't get tipped.
Yeah.
Just look at, and we'll never know, but just looking at the trajectory of the ball,
and it would have been right at the pylon.
Ridley was coming right back to the pylon. Yeah. It looked like it might have been a touchdown. Mm-hmm. It ended up being a touchdown, just not the way that you hoped it would be.
Yeah.
But yes, you need to. Cam Ward has to trust his protection a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Well, they have to give him a reason, and they're starting to. I mean, you are starting to see that an actual formation of a pocket.
Yes. It's not crumbling around him at all times.
It's not like leaking here, leaking there. There's more of that cup that you want to see. And that's I mean, when I watch football, when I see that, that's something that gets me excited.
Yes.
Because I'm a nerd. And I go, wow, that's a nice pocket.
I love it too. I mean, you look back to the preseason game against Tampa, the one throw he had to Ridley where he could have stood back there for days. And again, it was against 3rd and 4th stringers, but you're starting to see more of that where Cam Ward actually has time and doesn't have people diving at his feet
and has throwing lanes. Because that's part of the pocket is having, especially for a 6-foot quarterback, 6'1", a quarterback to throw the football. He needs those lanes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need a guy in his face.
And you've seen him be able to use the sidearm to throw it around guys. He did that again. Was it the helm catch at the goal line where he kind of got hit and the sidearm allowed him to get it out?
Falling to his right as the guy hit him. And I think that was just a product of just trying to get away from
It might have been the Ridley throw at the end too, that there was a defensive end jumping in his face and he kind of threw it around him and still got the air underneath it. So you're seeing that. I'll say it for the 5th week in a row. You hope J.C. Latham is back this week.
I would think if he's not back, then not putting him on IR was a huge mistake. And again, you don't have to put guys on IR because you got to scratch.
Right, there are 7 inactives every week. So unless you have 7 guys who are out,
but when you didn't put him on IR, you basically said, "Hey, we think he's going to be back in a couple weeks."
Yes.
So you hope last week was all right. We're just going to give you one more week because we think we're coming along. Right. Udo's doing okay. We're just going to give you one because this is what you drafted him for.
Yeah.
You got Max Crosby over there.
Right.
All right. You're not going to win every snap, but you need to be able to stand up physically to this guy and give your team a chance.
Yes.
This is what you're picked 7th overall for.
And Oli Udoh has looked better the last couple weeks. I think you feel better about having a swing tackle now.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have J.C. Latham over there against Max Crosby to be sure. And I think Paul yesterday on Robbie and Rex Road said that he would be pretty surprised if J.C. Latham isn't back this week.
Well, mathematically, I would be surprised.
Well, right. This is 2 weeks in a row that Brian Callahan has ended his Wednesday press conference, which will be coming up later. We may air some of that at the end of our show. He said JC's close.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, close has to equal being back on the practice field.
Yeah, and for them, it needs to be not going to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Okay, not going to re-aggravate it. And that's the tricky part is could he play? Sure. But if he plays, are we going to be right back where we were?
Right.
And because you can't have that.
And he would go on IR if he re-aggravates it.
You've got 12 games left.
Yep.
All right, there's a lot of football to be played. Like, you're probably not going to save your season, but you're looking for growth. And the best way to grow is to have your best players on the field.
Right. And we've seen the offensive line get better without him. You would imagine it would continue to grow when you get him back out on the field.
Yeah, Zeitler's playing well. That's good to see.
Yeah, clean game. No pressures from the interior on Sunday from Skoronski, Cushenberry, and Zeitler, which is good to see. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's go back to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com quickly here. Neil from Nashville is on the line. Neil, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing, man?
Good.
Doing well.
Awesome. Just want to say this, and, I'm not a football coach or anything, but Cam Ward has not looked good whatsoever. His accuracy is terrible. He's at like 52% completions, and 3 quarters he looked hot garbage, including that interception. I didn't want him at number 1. I would have traded out of that pick, signed to Sam Darnold or somebody, and got this team ready, but I'm scared like he can't get coached out of his footwork and his mechanics. Like, this isn't college. This is NFL. Everybody's fast and everybody's good. And lately the quarterback play of a lot of, especially in college, they're relying on athletic ability instead of fundamentals. And that's why you're seeing hot garbage quarterbacks come out of college. That's just my take on it. But I hope he does well as a Titans fan, as somebody that's originally from Nashville and OG here. I hope he does well, but he really needs to go to work on the off season with a guru and over mechanics. And I wish him the best of luck. So I appreciate the time, and y'all have a blessed and safe one, man.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Neil. I mean, we covered a lot of the stuff with the completion percentage.
Yeah, 51.8. And it's not near good enough.
Right, and I think we agree that fundamentally and results-wise, he hasn't been good enough through 5 weeks. But if you didn't watch that fourth quarter and thought that's why they took him number 1 overall, then
there are certain things you can't teach.
Yeah.
All right. And number 1 is his drive and his heart for the position. And you could say, well, you're not, you are drafting that because there are guys who don't have it.
Yeah.
All right. There are guys who are 6'6" and have a cannon for an arm, but they have a noodle for a heart. And then they're not there in the fourth quarter. And so he has the want to be great. He has the want to have the ball in his hands in critical situations. Yes, I'm not going to disagree with much of what he said. There's a lot that has to be better. Those things can be coached. Steve McNair had to work on a lot of those things when he came into the league because he was also a college quarterback who relied on athleticism, and he had to refine a lot of what he was doing, with his drops and with his footwork. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But that stuff can be coached, and it's a leap of faith that you can coach him up.
Right. He's got the natural ability. Can you get him to play within the system of the offense? And I think we saw more of that towards the end of the game on Sunday. 615-737-1025 is the phone number, our number 1 in the books. We'll go around the NFL a little bit on the other side. Get away from the Titans, talk about some of the bigger storylines around the league. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Fun first hour, talking Titans. We'll talk more Titans throughout the show. Also, we'll get into some college football and the Preds. But it's been an interesting start to the NFL season. I wanted to play a little game here of contender or pretender, because we've got some teams that have gotten off to surprising starts.
Good and bad,
for sure. I mean, we talked about the Ravens during the show yesterday. 1-4.
Titans and Ravens looking in the mirror at each other.
I saw somebody put out a meme yesterday of John Daly on the tee box with somebody else, and it's like Titans are smoking a cigar and at 1-4, and it's like the Ravens uncomfortable to be there. And guess what? Who knows if Lamar Jackson's going to play this week? And they've got the Rams on Sunday.
If he doesn't play, they'll get routed.
They might be 1-5 heading into the bye week. Plenty of winnable games for the Ravens the rest of the year, but
their fans are angry.
Right. No, I have a few friends who are big Ravens fans, having grown up in right outside DC, and they are not happy.
No.
I'm like, you guys are still the favorites to win that division, odds on. So the Steelers, though, currently have the best record in the AFC North.
3-1.
We'll talk about the Steelers a little bit during this little game we're going to play. But let's start right here in the AFC South.
Sure.
The Colts and Jaguars have both gotten off to 4-1 starts. If the season ended today, the team in the AFC getting a bye week to the divisional round would be the Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones.
Yep. What
do we think about the Colts? Do we think they are a true contender in the AFC, or do we think this is a team that is going to fall off at some point?
I do. And it pains me. Anybody who knows me knows I like to bang on Indy and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And before the season, I said to Jake Lyman, if Daniel Jones can be average, they'll be good.
Yeah. You did.
I said they will be in position to contend for playoff. He's been better than average. And so they're 4-1, could be 5-0. I think things balance out because they got the leverage call with the Broncos game. But they're good at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. That's key number one.
Yep.
All right. The quarterback is playing smart. He's not turning it over. Jonathan Taylor leads the league in rushing. It's not just Daniel Jones. Their offensive line and Taylor are getting it done. All right. So they are producing. And then, you've got Pittman and Downs. None of their receivers are blowing up. But what did they do in the draft? They added Tyler Warren.
Yep.
And Tyler Warren is the missing piece to the puzzle. So those two additions to their offense, Daniel Jones, and who would have thought that, Daniel Jones and then Tyler Warren, and staying healthy up front, they're a good football team. And I don't see them dropping. I see them winning the division.
I think they're going to win the division too. And I was not high on the Colts heading into the year. I did not think Daniel Jones was going to give you average quarterback play based on what we've seen. And I thought the Colts might even finish last in the division. But from what we've seen, I think they are the most complete team in this division. Now, we talked about them yesterday. Do I think the Colts are going to win 3 games in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl? Probably not. If you have to face Herbert and Jackson and Allen and Mahomes.
Chargers haven't scored 20 points in 2 weeks.
No, I know. But just in terms of doing all of it, could they beat 1 or 2 of those teams? Sure. But AFC Championship game in Buffalo, maybe it's an Indy, but AFC Championship game in Buffalo, I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills.
Sure. Look, if it's Patrick Mahomes who gets you're going to take the quarterback.
Right.
You're going to take Allen, you're going to take Mahomes, you're going to take Lamar.
Yeah. But do I think the Colts can win the division? For sure. The way they've started this year, they've looked like the best team in the division. The Jaguars too, though, surprising.
Yeah.
I think it's a little less sustainable for them. I look around that team and think, the offensive line is meh.
They're more physical than they used to be.
Yeah, but
Liam Cohn's clearly got some things figured out in the run game with them. And so that's made a difference. The big thing for the Jags is they're creating turnovers at a prolific rate right now. Can they continue that? I'm not going to apologize. I'm not a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I will acknowledge he showed me more on Monday night that I've seen from him in the past. Can he continue to do that and can they continue to create turnovers? Because that's why they're 4-1. That's why they won on Monday night. That's why they beat San Francisco. They've got to continue. When are they number 1 in the league? I think plus 8 or plus 9.
I believe they are. Devin Lloyd has 4 interceptions.
That's
that does
crazy.
lead the league.
That's crazy. And he had a 90-plus yard pick 6. And so I don't know if creating turnovers like on that pace is as sustainable as offensive line play and running the football.
They do lead the league in turnover differential with 8.
Yeah, with 8. And you gotta, and Lawrence can't turn it over as well. So I for me, Indy more sustainable than Jacksonville.
I agree with that. But Jacksonville, you're 4-1 and you've beaten the Chiefs. You've beaten the 49ers,
skins.
right? Like,
yeah,
there's you look at their schedule, like there's a chance they could make the playoffs.
Yeah, we haven't, and I know this isn't the game, so I'm sorry, but there's a stat that we haven't brought up.
Yeah.
The AFC South went 4-0.
They did.
For the first time in 6 years on a weekend.
Okay? Crazy.
Yes.
And, the Texans blew out the Ravens, the Cooper Rush-led Ravens.
Still, to go there.
Right, in Baltimore.
That game was over before it started.
The Ravens' defense, and then
it's the worst in the league.
They just traded away Odafe Owe, which I know he was.
Gilman from the Chargers?
Yeah, like.
But their defense is the worst in the league.
Yeah.
And Kyle Hamilton doesn't fix that all by himself.
Right. And lots of injuries, for sure, for them.
Everybody has them.
But, yeah, it's been really bad for the Ravens. And the Texans took advantage. They're now 2-3. They're not out of the playoff conversation.
They're not. What if we get 3 teams from the AFC South of the playoffs?
Yeah, what would the odds of that been preseason?
0.
Another team outside of the AFC South, but ties to here.
Okay.
The Patriots. They're now 3-2. They just beat the last undefeated team remaining in the NFL, beating the Bills on Sunday night. Do we think that the Patriots are a true contender, get back to the playoffs in their first year under Mike Vrabel?
They've got one good win. Their 2 other wins are the Panthers and the Dolphins.
Yes, and the Dolphins game, they were in a dogfight to the very end in that one.
It's a really good win over the Buffalo Bills. And the thing that makes me say I'm not going to count them out, there's 2 things. Vrabel's a good football coach, and he's going to generally get the most out of his roster. But if Drake May can play like he played,
he looks really
Sunday
good.
night. He made plays.
Yep.
He made game-winning, game-changing plays. He made Josh Allen plays where you think he's going down and it becomes a 15-yard completion. All right. That, to me, that made my eyes this big going, oh, wow, we may have something here. I mean, I know everybody's liked Drake May for a while, and that's fine. There's a difference between that and what he did Sunday night.
Yeah, Drake May, I've said this story on the air before, but I went down to Chapel Hill my senior year at Virginia Tech, and I think it was May's first year starting, and I watched him play that game, blew out Virginia Tech. And I left that stadium. The only thing I was thinking was like, that is an NFL quarterback that we just watched out there. And I loved him coming out. I think, with Caleb and Jaden Daniels, like obviously he was in a class where he might go 3rd, but there aren't a lot of other draft classes where he isn't the number 1 overall pick quarterback.
Yeah, he looks really good. And they got Christian Gonzalez back, and you saw some of the difference that made. And the stat that nobody is talking about in that football game was they held James Cook to 49 yards and 15 carries. James Cook has had a huge year, and he's been a huge reason why Josh Allen hasn't had to do it himself. Well, when Josh Allen suddenly had to do it himself this last week, they only put 20 points on the board. So I give the Patriots high marks because they stopped the run, and their quarterback made plays to win the game, and that wins you a lot of football games. I think, I don't know if they make the playoffs or not. They're going to be there in contention at the end.
Agreed on that. I mean, especially you play in the AFC East. They've still got more games against the Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah,
right.
That's 3 more wins.
We went through their schedule early on. They've got maybe one of the easiest schedules in the NFL.
I think they have the easiest
It was them
schedule.
and the 49ers because their next 3 games, maybe the 3 worst teams in football. Yeah. Saints, Titans, Browns. The Jets
6-2.
And then they still play the Jets twice the rest of the way. So there you go. That's 5 wins. You already got 8.
And they're going to blow one of those because it's the NFL.
And it's Mike Vrabel, who Mike Vrabel was the king of winning his games he's not supposed to, and losing games he should win.
I have news for you. Everybody in the NFL loses games they're supposed to win.
I mean, I'm just thinking about actually it was the year the Titans were the number 1 seed in 2021. Lost to the Texans and the Jets that year.
Yeah, it was bad.
But you win the games you're not supposed to. It all evens out.
But so yes, I'm going to say contender.
I'll go contender too. Yeah. I think they're a playoff team, especially with the way that's scheduled.
And I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I did not expect to go there when the season started, especially after only 5 games. And I was certainly, and again, I should say Sunday night did a lot.
I agree.
Swaying me.
It was,
and maybe I'm buying too much into one game, but I was really impressed.
I was too. And, when they lost to the Raiders in week 1, I was like, well, there you go. Patriots were overhyped, but that win on Sunday was impressive on the road, prime time against Buffalo. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. I got a couple more teams to get to on the other side. We'll do that next. We'll head over to the NFC after this. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Continuing our little game of NFL contender, pretender through 5 weeks of the NFL season. We talked about a lot of teams in the AFC, Colts, Jaguars, Patriots, some of the big surprises who would currently be in playoff spots if the season ended today. Over on the NFC side, the NFC West is, I don't know if either of these teams are massive surprises. The 49ers have one of the easier schedules in the NFL, but with the injuries they've had and a lot of their talent is getting over the hump, McCaffrey and Kittle and Williams and Warner, and they're 4-1.
Yeah.
And honestly, the only game they lost, they gave it away to the Jaguars with all the turnovers. The Seahawks are 3-2, and they were in a shootout with the Buccaneers on Sunday. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, picks number 1 and 3 back in the 2017 draft.
Yep.
Going at it. And both those teams would be in playoff position right now. What do you think? Let's start with the 49ers. Do you think they're contenders, pretenders?
Look, I really like Kyle Shanahan as a coach. I mean, I think he's outstanding, and I think he's done an outstanding job to get them to 4-1. But no, I'm not there. It's too old, too beat up. I mean, I'm not confident. Brock Purdy makes it through the whole season.
I don't know if I trust Purdy even when he's healthy too.
I mean, Mac Jones has been really oddly good for them.
Yeah.
And but again, there's just so many injuries, and even when Kittle comes back, how many games is he going to be back for?
Yeah, and you've already lost Bosa for the year.
Yeah, and so they may get to the playoffs, but I don't see much. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I think that's the bottom line. I like I said, great head coach, but they've lost a lot, and what they've got is old.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there that they might make it to the playoffs again because their schedule,
I mean, Nick Bosa's done for the year, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
he tore his ACL. You end the season with, and actually the schedule, looking at it preseason, it looked relatively easy, but some of these teams have stepped up. But you do end the year with your last 8 games. You've got the Giants, you got the Panthers, you got the Browns, you got the Titans, you got your Bears. At the Colts.
I like the Bears in that game.
Yeah. I mean, it's Sunday Night Football in San Francisco.
That's what I'm saying. They could be 9 wins, 10
right,
wins.
Get into the playoffs, but
they're not a threat.
No, I don't see them being a team that makes it back to the NFC Championship game like we've seen Shanahan do plenty of times.
So I'm going to say kind of pretender. It kind of pains me to say that because I think more of them than that, but I think they're maxing out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think 4-1 is... you've put yourself in a good position where you can just play average football and you can make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But in the playoffs, I don't know if I see them competing with the Packers, the Lions, the Eagles, the Rams, even though they beat them on Thursday night.
Yeah. I'll still take the Rams.
The Seahawks, we had a conversation about Sam Darnold during one of the breaks. And
we disagree.
We disagree about whether Sam Darnold would have been a good fit here. And I understand he's looked really good with the Seahawks. And I do think Sam Darnold is a good quarterback.
He looked really good in Minnesota.
The question I did ask when the idea of Sam Darnold was floating around is, what does he do for the long-term plan of this franchise?
He's still young.
I know he's young, but have we seen the ceiling of Sam Darnold? I think so.
Probably, but the ceiling is pretty good.
Does Sam Darnold win you a Super Bowl? That's the question that I would have asked.
I think with a good roster, he can.
In the AFC? Like, do you think Sam Darnold is going to go toe-to-toe with Allen Mahomes over the next 5 years to go to the Super Bowl?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, look.
And that's what I don't see it.
I mean, look, he's putting up numbers. And the Seahawks are better than I expected.
I agree with that.
I picked the Seahawks to finish last in their division.
I think I did too. Is them or the Cardinals?
I thought the Cardinals would step up and finish 3rd.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and they're look, Jackson Smith and Jigba has become a big time player.
Great player.
Just a big time player. And Darnold is putting up numbers. Now he threw the pick that got him beat.
Yeah.
But he had 35 points on the board first.
Right.
So that's a good Bucs team. It was a great football game. And I don't disagree with taking Cam Ward first. I wouldn't have disagreed with signing Sam and getting the draft picks to put the players around him.
Yeah, and I could see that making this team better in the short term. Like, I think that...
Well, I think in the long term, too, because you get more young players.
Right, but if Darnold, let's say you sign him to a 3-year deal, I don't know if he's getting another deal after that. Maybe he does.
Well, I think look, if you're making that decision, you're making that decision that he's your quarterback for the next 8 years.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's like
you're passing up on a quarterback who you hope is your quarterback for a decade.
And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make is you had the first overall pick.
Yeah.
At some point, you've got to go find the quarterback who can be your guy. How often are you going to get that chance? And I think Darnold is good enough to pull you out of the top 10 picks. Like
the other issue is you sign Sam Darnold instead of drafting a quarterback. You're missing. You draft Cam Ward first overall. You have 5 years of non-salary cap hell with your quarterback.
Correct.
Okay. With Darnold, you're diving right back into paying a quarterback. And it hamstrings everything else you want to do. So you really got to hit on all those draft picks and they got to play.
Yeah.
All right. And so with Cam, now you've got more money. So hopefully you've got some players to re-sign. I don't know about that.
Right now, Roger McCreary and
but then they can do some selective shopping.
Yes.
But they're in a good spot, financially. So look, Skoronski's going to need a new deal.
Right.
They're going to be able to pay him.
Yep.
That's not going to be an issue. Now you're in a situation, Jeff's going to want more money after this year.
Yep.
He's going to want new money. Okay. He's still under contract. He's going to want new money because you got your quarterback on a rookie deal. You're going to be able to give it to him. Okay.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of leeway. And that's one of the considerations in, do we take this veteran or do we draft a guy?
Yeah. And obviously we're not going to know whether the right decision was made for a few years at this point, but I lean take the quarterback because you need the elite quarterback to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. That's been the case for 25 years, is if you do not have an elite quarterback, you are not making the Super Bowl in the AFC. I don't think Sam Darnold is ever going to be an elite quarterback. Cam Ward has a chance to be.
Yeah, we'll see if we do it. But we're getting away from our game.
We are getting away from our game.
Seattle Seahawks, I like them. I don't love them.
I don't know if there's enough there.
Yes. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I better than I expected. Maybe make the playoffs. Maybe. But just like the 49ers, I don't see them making a run.
Right. They're not in that top tier in the NFC that we've seen of, the Eagles have struggled, but I think you still believe in that roster come the playoffs. The Lions, after that week one loss to the Packers.
The best team in football.
Right. The Packers have fallen off the last couple of weeks.
Packers, their numbers are all still so good everywhere.
Right.
They're going to be fine.
They're going to be fine.
I still think of the NFC, Lions, Packers, Eagles.
You could maybe put the Rams in that conversation. And the Bucs,
and the
right?
Rams. Yeah, that's 5 really good teams that you would put the 49ers and the Seahawks.
Right.
Both.
They might be the 6th and 7th playoff teams.
Yes.
But they're the 6th and 7th playoff teams.
And the Bears could still pass one of those teams.
That is true.
I say it sincerely.
Right. No, the Vikings are 3-2 too.
Yes.
The Commanders are in that, like the NFC.
Jaden Daniels is in that conversation.
The NFC is deep. So it is tough to look and say, like, the 49ers and Seahawks, they're going to be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be at the top of it? Who knows at the end of the year? 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll get back to the Titans coming up in a little bit. But there were some big games over the weekend in college football. We talked a lot about Vandy, Alabama last week. We'll recap that game.
North Carolina, Clemson.
Bill Belichick canceling the Hulu series after that one. Not sure he wanted that footage to get out.
Man, I never wanted the Hulu series. I totally want it now.
Can somebody buy that from Hulu? Just be like, hey, whatever footage you have, we'll give you a blank check and we'll put it out.
I heard Duke is thinking about buying it.
There you go. Duke University.
I want to be in the Belichick's kitchen in the morning when he walks out there. Bill, how's it going? What do you got planned for today?
It's bad. It is bad over there in Chapel Hill. We'll talk about that game. Only one of the few teams who maybe had a worse weekend than UNC. Penn State and James Franklin.
Another guy who thinks he's a genius.
Surprised where that any documentary they have hasn't gotten canceled yet after this one. 615-737-1025. We'll talk some college football on the other side. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly.
Is this like an homage to the 80s today?
Parker,
I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood for
He
it.
You had Eurythmics.
He has themes with his bump music.
He had I Need a Hero. Do you know that was a theme song to a series in the 80s? It was a CBS series.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. It's like Hot something or other.
Wasn't it also on Footloose? Or am I thinking of a different song?
They might have run that in Footloose as well. But the story I'm getting to is the star of that series in the 80s actually died on set.
Oh.
You know how the guns are, they shoot blanks.
Right, like the Alec Baldwin situation.
But no, but it wasn't that it wasn't a blank. It was still a blank, but it was so close to his head it fractured his skull. The percussion fractured his skull and killed him. And so but that's what I remember about that song. It was a CBS like Sunday night show. It was a fairly successful show. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm old.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Parker, he takes pride in his bump music, bringing it back. Especially we have TD in tomorrow. He always has to go above and beyond when Teron's in here because TD's a big music guy.
Oh yeah. Big clothes guy, big car guy.
Yes. Yeah. All that stuff for Teron Davenport. He'll be in tomorrow from 9 to noon. Excited for that. I will be over at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow, getting ready for the Preds opening game. We'll talk about that coming up in the final hour of the show. But did have to get back to college football because it was a big weekend. We previewed Vandy, Alabama a ton last week because heading into that, Vandy had a chance to put themselves in control of their playoff destiny, and I still think they are, but you could have been 6-0 heading into your bye week. And it's a game where Vandy, did they play well enough? No, obviously not. But they had chances to win that game and just couldn't take advantage.
20-14 and you throw a pick in the red zone.
Right.
Can't happen.
Up 7-0 in the red zone and you fumble.
Yeah, can't happen. I mean, they're good enough to win that football game, but they're not good enough to win that football game turning it over twice in the red zone. If you just settle for 3 on either of those drives, it's a different game.
Right.
And so I think what's most shocking is, I hate to say Pavia lost to the game, but the turnovers lost you the game.
Yep.
The other thing that when you go back and you look at the statistics of this game and you see they threw 35 passes, they only had 18 carries.
And 6 of them were from running backs.
They averaged 7.5 yards a carry.
Yes.
So why on earth did you get away from running the football so much when you were able to just mow it down the field, running the football? And so I think there's some things about that game that they'll regret and that they'll learn from. But I think bottom line, they can be upset that they lost and look in the mirror and say, we are good enough to win that game. We are good enough to go to Tuscaloosa and win that game. The other thing, Jake, that got me about that game, I have never thought I would see Alabama and their fans that excited to beat Vanderbilt.
Right.
I mean, they were beating their chest that they had taken down the Commodores.
Yep.
And that just shows you how much the narrative has changed for both teams.
I mean, look behind me right now. If you're watching the stream, Mad Dog Russo is talking about Vanderbilt football and saying
the trash talk.
Yeah, he's not happy about Diego Pavia.
That's who he is.
But
you have to take the good with the bad.
Diego earned the right to trash talk Alabama last year.
But
guess what? You lose. You got to own up to it.
But you don't want to take away from who he is.
Right.
I mean, like Tiger Woods tried to become this nicer person and couldn't win at golf anymore. Okay. So this is who Diego is.
Yeah.
It's how he elevates your program, and you just roll with it.
Right. And obviously was not good enough on Saturday in Tuscaloosa to win that football game.
And he would probably be the first to admit it
and
be really angry about it.
We talked about it yesterday. I mean, you running the football, obviously, you get a 70-yard touchdown on your first drive of the game on just a run with Cedric Alexander. You ran the ball 5 more times with your running backs the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
And Tim Beck is a large reason why they were 5-0 because he was masterful calling plays. Not his best game on
He's going to look back at that and go, okay, why did I get out of this? Why did we get away from this?
And we also point to time of possession. Last year in that win over Alabama, the Crimson Tide possessed the ball for 17 and a half minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you run the ball 18 times, you're not going to have it that long.
This year, Alabama 37 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like the game plan that won you that game, you went away from it this year. And did that cost you the game? No, you still had chances to go win the game. But you wonder, I think if they had a do-over of how they schemed up that game offensively, I wonder if they would go back and take it.
I mean, look, they don't have any regrets about, like I said, looking in the mirror and saying, are we good enough? They just have regrets about choices they've made and some execution mistakes that they made, without question. And, look, we need to give kudos to Ty Simpson, who has really improved and thrust himself into the Heisman race. And I heard somebody say this yesterday, I think, if his name was Ty Manning, the Heisman race would be over.
It would be, yes, it would be his. Yeah.
It would be over. Just to show you how name recognition matters.
Yep. And Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, I think those are your two we talked about the Heisman race last week and how Diego and Joey Aguilar could get in there. And there's still a path for them to get their name back into that conversation. But right now, Simpson and Moore, that's
because they're winning.
Right. They won, and they've done it on the big stage the last couple of weeks. With Vanderbilt, they still control their destiny to make it to the college football playoff. And
sorry, Mad Dog got knocked out of his survivor pool by the Cardinals.
He's got all kinds of problems with Nashville right now. He is fired up right now. With Vanderbilt, LSU doesn't look like a world beater right now.
No, they
especially
don't.
Offensively.
Offensively, they're not what they want to be.
Texas just lost to Florida. There
has not been a point this year where you look at Texas and go, they look good.
Yeah. Fell out of the rankings after being the preseason number one. Missouri comes here to Nashville in a couple weeks. They're 14th in the country.
Yep.
Their only big win is the same as Vanderbilt, South Carolina. And Vandy beat South Carolina by 24 in Columbia.
Yep.
Well, I guess both would be in Columbia for Missouri. But in Columbia, Missouri, the Tigers only beat South Carolina by 8. Lenora Sellers' health, obviously a factor in some of those scores. But that's a game you can win. You could be 9-2 heading into that Tennessee game still. It's all still in front of you.
I mean, and really that's, look, they're going to say they want to be 11-1 going into the college football playoff. But if you could be 9-2 going to Knoxville, going into that last game, you would absolutely take that.
Yeah,
you absolutely take
right.
That.
If you
were taking that to start the season,
yes. If you tell anybody on that Vandy team, hey, you're 9-2 going to Neyland with a chance to clinch a playoff spot, sign us up. Trevor has pointed out Cover Up, I believe, is the show you were talking about. Aired from 1984 to 1985. Ben texted in. He says, unfortunately, I think the win will get knocked out of sales for Vandy in the next 2 games. Titans score more than Vandy. My called shot. Okay, yeah. And you got
this weekend?
Yeah, this past weekend. He said he texted that into the morning show on Friday. So there you go, Ben. Congratulations. He said that the Titans would outscore Vanderbilt
22-20,
22-14.
Oh, 14. That's right. 14,
yeah. So you got it right. It took a 16-point fourth quarter with all kinds of mayhem, but you did get it right.
Doesn't matter.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Elsewhere in college football, a former Vanderbilt coach had a really tough Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there are bad losses. But one of the things we always say about the NFL that makes it great is you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
You can
the worst team in the league can beat the best team in the league any given Sunday.
Or New England goes to Buffalo and wins. They're a 7-point dog. The Titans are an 8-point dog, and they go. That it happens in the NFL because the margin between good and bad is so small.
Right.
It doesn't happen in college football like that. It doesn't. Penn State to go to UCLA and not just lose, but to just get housed. I mean, they were down big and had to try to rally back to get back in that football game. And that it's not just that UCLA's bad.
Right.
They're bad. They fired their coach. They're arguably the worst offensive team in power football. And they hung, what was the final number? 47?
I think 43, 37, something like that.
I mean, that is ridiculous. And, you've got a loss.
42-37.
You've got a loss already.
Right.
You can't afford another one.
Well, it was funny that a reporter asked Drew Aller after the game, are you guys still in the playoff hunt? And he goes, what do you think? Yes. And it's like, I don't know. Like, you got to.
At 10-2,
I think
that
you get
loss,
in. But that means you have to go to Ohio State and win.
But you still have that loss on your resume.
It's going to be close. I think what helps them is that really nobody has been all that good. Yeah. Like it's.
But say Vanderbilt's 10-2. And their losses are to Alabama and
Texas
or LSU.
Yeah. on the road, or LSU at home. Like, that's true.
I mean, who are you going to take?
I think you take Vanderbilt. I mean, Vandy would have the better wins at that point too.
Yeah,
you would have beaten South Carolina, Missouri, and Tennessee.
I mean, you beat Northwestern and Rutgers, great.
Yeah.
You got to have some wins.
Penn State's schedule isn't all that difficult down the stretch, but again, you do have to go to Ohio State, and I think at 9-3, you've got almost no chance.
Oh no, they're not getting,
especially with that UCLA loss.
There's no way.
6-1-5-7.
That's an elimination game for them.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a game that they don't win very often. They've beaten Ohio State once lately, and that was
James Franklin's historical data for big games would be on the negative side.
Number one team in the country on their home field. Wouldn't be betting on James Franklin in that spot.
No.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll talk a little more college football on the other side. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, finishing up hour number 2. We get into the Preds, back into the Titans in the final hour of the show. Predators starting their season tomorrow. Hockey season opened up last night. Lots to talk about with Smashville as they get ready for the new year. But wrapping up our college football conversation, we were going through some of the big results. Penn State, Texas both get upset over the weekend. Top 2 teams in the preseason AP poll now unranked
that's crazy.
on October 8th.
Which is another reason there should be no polls till like week 4. That's not going to happen, but there should be.
Right. The polls are, people love to talk about them even when you haven't actually seen the teams play football.
Networks love to sell the numbers.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
And the top 2 teams in the AP poll, both unranked, both an uphill battle to get into the playoff.
Well, and both should be better.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at the talent on those teams.
Both should be better.
I think if you look at the most talented rosters across the country, it's them in Ohio State.
It's why they were 1-2.
Right. Like that's mostly why
Yeah.
what you're ranking in the preseason. Like past year's results comes into it, but for the most part, it's looking at star rankings and returning talent and all that stuff. And both those teams have underperformed. They're going to have to win out to make the playoffs. 9-3 for Penn State or Texas does not get you in at this point. But that's opened things up for a lot of these teams. We talked about Vandy's chances. I think the Vols are in a great spot at this point. You've got to be able to win at least one of your games against Alabama and Oklahoma. Those are the last 2 top 10 teams on your schedule. At Alabama, 3rd weekend of October, coming up in about 10 days. And then Oklahoma, November 1st. John Mateer almost certainly will be back and healthy during that game. So you've got to be able to win one of those 2 games.
And then finish off Vanderbilt.
And then you've got to beat Vanderbilt in the final game of the season. Not something that you're like, oh, they're for sure going to do it, but a very possible pass for Tennessee.
They've played 2 SEC games and both have gone overtime.
Yep.
So it's not like, they're a good football team, so don't get me wrong, but they're not going out there and just dominating the good teams.
Yeah.
Syracuse is a fine win. Syracuse is not a good team.
No.
Okay. And then your other non-conference wins aren't great either.
UAB and
no.
ETSU.
Going to Mississippi State, that's a good team on the road. That's a good win. That's you don't have to apologize.
No, that was an undefeated team heading in.
Yes. So you don't have to apologize for that. But it's not like you're sitting there going, oh, well, they're going to beat those teams you're talking about, Jake. No.
Right.
We can't go there.
You can't look and say, oh, for sure they're going to go 5-1 down the stretch or 6-1 down the stretch, and they're going to make the playoffs. But you look at the path, and it's very realistic for them.
It's doable. And
you're coming off the bye week. You get Arkansas this week at home. You're hoping that's a good tune-up to get ready for Alabama. Is this the first game post firing for Sam Pittman?
It's the Bobby Petrino.
There you go. The Bobby Petrino re-debut as the head coach of Arkansas.
Were they literally making T-shirts that said "Let's ride again"? That is unbelievable. And look, to fire Sam Pittman in that situation, there had to be boosters already in play who wanted to make that move.
Yeah.
Who wanted Bobby P back because they were dreaming of the good old days when they were rolling along. It's been a long time since those good old days.
It has.
And, Bobby P hasn't done a whole lot since then.
Yeah.
Not at Texas A&M, not at Louisville.
It's I don't think it's an experiment that's going to work out for Arkansas, but if you make it
work out for Bobby P, he's going to get paid.
Right. So I think Tennessee's in a good spot to get a win this upcoming weekend.
Agreed.
And then that Alabama game becomes huge. It's very similar to Vanderbilt's Alabama game last weekend of you don't have to win it. There is still a path for you to make the playoff if you lose that game. But
you're in a playoffs every week after that.
It makes you feel a whole lot better if you win that football game.
The loser of Alabama, Tennessee is arguably in the playoffs the rest of the
way. You're playing elimination games the rest of the season.
Is it possible for an SEC team to get in at 9-3? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But as you saw last year, you don't want to be in that situation.
The SEC is in a spot where they could just cannibalize each other and hurt their chances.
Because they don't have elite teams this year.
Right.
And that's what we're used to. We're used to seeing them have 2 elite teams where, like, even if they have a loss, they can still win the national championship.
Yeah.
And so, and now you're like, look at the Big Ten and you say probably Ohio State and Oregon elite teams in that conference.
Yeah.
In that conference. And so they're going to be there. They're going to
Yes,
be there.
I think you feel good about Ohio State, Oregon, Miami as those are the teams that you look at and you're like, they're in the playoffs.
They're going to be
They're going to be there.
Yeah.
The SEC doesn't have one of those teams yet. And
Alabama's the favorite in the league right now.
Right.
And we don't know if they're going to be in the playoffs.
The undefeated teams you have are Ole Miss, who has proven that they're always going to give you one game a year that they're going to lose, that they're not supposed to.
The guy at Texas A&M is doing a great job.
I like Mike Elko.
He's doing a great job, and Marcel Reed is a good quarterback. So I think A&M really bears watching, and again I say that because he's a good football coach.
Yes, and Oklahoma also is undefeated, but questions about Mateer's health. They get Texas this weekend, a Texas team that's playing with their backs against the wall. Yeah. So you just don't know in the SEC how many of these teams are going to get through conference play with 2 or less losses.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be easy, and you could end up seeing a deflated number of SEC teams in the college football playoff because of it.
Does Missouri have a loss?
They do not, but they haven't played anybody yet.
Yeah. So there you go.
They play Alabama this weekend.
Okay.
So
gosh, Alabama could lose that game.
Right. Alabama's schedule's not easy.
No.
I mean, that's they've got a gauntlet. Have you seen South Carolina's schedule over the next 5 weeks?
No, they look pretty done.
They're done. They're not making the playoffs, but their schedule over the next 5 weeks: number 11 LSU, number 6 Oklahoma, number 8 Alabama, number 4 Ole Miss, number 5 Texas A&M.
Wow. Wow.
You are playing 5 straight top 12 teams.
And you've already played Vanderbilt.
You've already lost to Vanderbilt. You've already lost to Missouri.
Those are all like legit teams.
And guess what? Like Clemson, not very good record-wise, but that's still a team at the end of the year that's not easy to go win. Like,
well, look, I worked in South Carolina for 7 years.
Yeah.
That game, South Carolina, that is a death match. Those two fan bases hate each other as much as any that you will ever see.
Yeah.
And you talk about like saving your season, that you absolutely can save your season if it hasn't gone your way with a win in that game.
There is a very realistic path to South Carolina playing for bowl eligibility in that game.
Sure.
Because they do have Coastal Carolina, so that's a 4th win. But in order to get to 6 wins before Clemson, you've got to beat 2 of those teams that I listed off.
Like Shane Beamer goes from toast of the town to toast in 1 year
right.
if they don't go to a bowl game. With that guy at quarterback, that's a huge.
If they go 5-7 at the end of the year, Shane, Blacksburg, Virginia. You guys still want a Beamer to be your head coach?
I don't know that South Carolina can afford to fire him.
Right, but if he left for Virginia Tech, I think maybe you get into a.
Do you want to leave the SEC for the?
I
SEC?
don't think he does unless he feels like he's not long for that job.
Like he's got 1 year.
Right. If he feels like he's going in as like a, hey, if you don't go 9-3 next year, then you're out. Maybe he's like, I've got a pretty guaranteed job if I go back to Blacksburg.
I don't know if South Carolina's that school, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, I think honestly last year raised the expectations for him high enough that it could end up hurting him in the long run.
He has exceeded expectations since taking that job.
Yeah.
So this is the first time he's really like taken a step back.
Right. And it's a brutal stretch for South Carolina.
That is horrible.
Starting this weekend. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Coming up next, we'll talk some Preds. Hockey season is underway. Triple header last night on NHL opening night. Preds start their season tomorrow from Bridgestone Arena. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 1025 The Game. Final hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, joined by Cory Curtis from News 2. Parker Kelly broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We'll talk Titans in this final hour as they get ready to take on the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. But first, the other big professional sports team, and I don't want to disrespect Nashville SC. I literally wrote this on the grid. No disrespect to Nashville SC.
Can I tell you a story real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Nashville SC had their U.S. Open Cup celebration last Sunday.
Yes.
Literally. So I had to go cover it because we didn't have anybody else to go do it. So I had to leave from watching the Titans game. They hit the stage, and this hour-long celebration begins. As they hit the stage, the Titans rally starts. I'm not kidding you. The two things went hand in hand. And so the Titans are getting close. And as a double rainbow comes up over Geodis Park during the celebration, the Cardinals fumble the ball into the end zone for a touchdown. And it's just like, what is happening here?
The stars are aligning.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy to see those two things happen. Sorry.
Well, Nashville, I don't want to disrespect Nashville SC. Obviously, an important professional sports team in this town. But when you're talking major four sports, Titans, Preds, that gets a lot of the attention.
Sure.
And the Predators start their season on Thursday. It feels like there is a void for Nashville sports fans right now of a team to rally around and really put their time and energy and emotions into. The Preds could take that if they get off to a good start and have a good season.
Well, I think Nashville SC and Vanderbilt would both disagree with you. I'm just going to say that both of them have given the city something to root for, but you're talking about the two historically biggest teams here.
Yes.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make, like for Vanderbilt,
they both came off horrible years.
There are lots of Tennessee fans in Nashville.
Yes.
So the city itself doesn't rally around Vanderbilt as much. And
but
for
they
SC,
have some.
Like there's not a lot of huge soccer people.
Vanderbilt is selling out now.
Correct.
Which
and
is crazy.
The city has rallied around it.
Yes.
In a Vanderbilt way.
Yes.
But the Preds, it's more just the Preds and
We've
Titans.
Seen what this town can be
if the Preds are good.
When the Preds go to the Cup.
Correct.
It's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. So yes, I will go with you there. It is a very interesting year because they have really not changed a lot. You know, they brought in some big bodies on defense. I think they've made moves to get tougher to play, to be grittier. Because you look at the two big bodies, Haig and Perbix, they bring in on the defense.
Yeah,
those are big physical guys. And then you look at, who's your first round pick?
Brady Martin.
And he's a lot like Kachuk, right?
Yep.
Where he's just
physical.
Yes. And so you look for him to be like a 60, 70 point guy down the line where he's like 30 goals, 35 assists, but in the playoffs, he is just a beast to play against.
Right.
And so I think, Barry likes to talk about those sandpaper guys. I think he wanted to add a lot of sandpaper to this team. But I think the other big question, Jake, is the new pieces last year who just seem to fit like a square peg in a round hole, but they're really good players, Stamkos and Marchessault. Do they fit better this year? I was talking with, I think it was McCarron, and he was talking about, and it may not have been, but it was somebody in the Preds locker room. I think it was McCarron. He was talking about how McDonough came in, and it didn't work for McDonough right away because the Preds play a little differently than everybody else.
Yeah,
but like the second year, McDonough was McDonough.
It clicked. Yes.
And so he's like, so whenever you change teams, it's never just that easy. And so those guys are great players. And I think there's an expectation that it's all going to fit a little bit better. I know they talked about buy-in, but those guys have got to fit better. They've got to be tougher on the defensive end. They made life way too hard on their goalie last year.
Yes.
And so I think they understood that as well. Roman's got to be healthy. Roman's physical ailment last year was obviously a huge problem. So there are avenues towards them being better. Roman being healthy, the additions on the blue line working, the additions from last year fitting in better, and Brady Martin being an 18-year-old who can play in the NHL.
Yeah. And Martin is going to be the top line center on Thursday night against Columbus.
He looks good.
Right.
I was at the game Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, he he looks good.
And I said this yesterday, and again, I wouldn't claim myself to be a hockey expert like a Robbie Stanley or Adam Vingan, but to put him on your top line in between Forsberg and O'Reilly makes you think they're not going to just send him back to juniors after 9 games, unless he looks like a fish out of water and it doesn't look like he fits quite yet. But based on what we've seen in the preseason, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Well, you go to the third period in the game against Carolina, and Carolina, by the way, the cup favorite.
Yeah.
And he goes into the corner late in the third period, beats 2 guys to dig the puck out and center it right in front of the goal, right in front of the net. They didn't score on it, but I was like, that's a great play.
Yep.
And so, it's really interesting when they brought him in for rookie camp, okay? And they have him doing all these goofy drills that these guys have never done in their lives, playing hockey in Western Canada and stuff. And they've got this lady teaching them to basically skate on one skate, and like they're balancing on their leg, and and he is just struggling. Like they're all struggling. He is just struggling, and I'm like, well, he'll get it eventually. But the bottom line is, he is a hockey player.
Yeah,
he is a hockey player, and he's a big, strong farm kid, and he plays the game the right way. He's a total Barry type player.
Yeah. When he got drafted, that was what everybody said was like, that is a Preds pick. That is a Barry Trotz pick.
Again, you go back to who just won the cup and the type of player they won it with.
Right.
That's what this is. This is a playoffs player. Now you got to get to the playoffs to show that, but that is absolutely what they have in mind. And I like putting him on that line with those 2 guys because I think both those guys have some physicality to them. Phillips developed that part of his game over the years. I think that line has skill, but has grit at the same time. I think there's a lot of really good elements on that line.
Yeah. Last year, the talk was about the young center, Tommy Novak. Like, could he be the guy in between Stamkos and Marchessault? And
too soft.
And it didn't work out with him. This year, I think it's a very similar thing of Martin and Svechkov. Can those guys be the centerman that you need in between? I mean, pretty elite wingers that you've got out there.
Well, Novak was undersized.
Right.
And these guys aren't undersized.
No, they're not.
And Svechkov is still really young. Really young.
Yes.
And he's got a lot of ability. Is he ready for that? We're going to find out. But I know that they think a lot of him and his ability. And who's he skating with? Stamkos?
Stamkos, yeah.
And who else?
Right now, I think they have Kemmel on his line, but it's going to be Evangelista.
Okay, yes, because I think they've got Marchessault down there on the third line.
With Bunting and Holla.
Yeah, and that line, again, skill and some grit. I think, when you're looking 3 lines deep, Evangelista's got to take a step forward.
Yes.
I mean, I don't like him missing the amount of time he missed. I don't. Again, you want to get paid. I understand that. He's got a lot to prove. And now when you've held out and you got your money, you got a lot to prove.
Yes.
And they will make him prove it.
Right. He's a guy who you looked at last year and said he could take a step forward and help with the additions of Marchessault and Stamkos, and all 3 of them just didn't have the years that you hope. This year, those are the guys, again, who have to have big years if this team's going to get back into the playoffs. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you have thoughts on the Preds, you can text or call. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll talk more Smashville on the other side. Again, Preds starting their season tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Oh, I do know this song.
You do know the song, yeah.
There's an Adam Sandler movie, Bedtime
sure.
Stories, where he's singing this song.
Okay.
But that is the only time I think I've heard this song.
I was probably 12, 13 when this came out.
This was a Cory Curtis request for Parker Kelly.
Well, I said if you're gonna play the 80s, play Rock Me Amadeus.
There we go.
What are you talking about? I'm like, just trust me, it's Falco.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you, talking some Preds here in the final hour. We can get to some of your texts on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Justin from Greenbrier asked the question about Brady Martin.
Okay.
Is he only going to play 9 games? And he says before they send him to Milwaukee, as far as I understand it, they can't send him to Milwaukee. It is either he stays at the NHL level or he goes back to juniors.
Yeah, I can't imagine them doing that.
Right.
I mean, I cannot imagine sending him to juniors.
I understand, like, if you don't want to lose that year off the entry level contract, but again, you have him as your top line center.
Well, and talking to them, it doesn't sound like there's any thought that he's here on a trial basis.
Well, and my question is, who takes his place?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're not wrong.
Like the center depth is the biggest flaw for this team right now. Is they do not have enough quality centermen.
That's been the flaw for this team for 25 years.
Yeah, you found a guy who you feel like can be a top line center next to Philip Forsberg.
Yeah.
It's like, 9 games in, back to Canada with you.
I think you know what he is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what he is. And he's also, you worry about, like, physically, like, I know Tanner Mollendijk, who's in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And is an insanely talented young defenseman and is one of the guys who is absolutely the future of this team.
For sure.
But I think one of the things now that he's finally in Milwaukee and not playing juniors, I think they want him to put on some weight. I think they want him to get stronger. And Brady Martin will also get stronger, but he's already pretty strong.
Yeah. You don't worry about him not being an NHL type of physical player at this point. Like, he can go out there and he compete with them. Like, is he going to go out and be a point per game guy as a rookie? No. But can he get you 40 to 50 points this year?
I'd like to see him be a 50-point guy this year. I'd like 20 goals and 30 assists, and that's because of the guys he's playing with.
Yeah.
If he was on the third line, those expectations would be different.
Right.
But you're playing with Forsberg and O'Reilly, you need to produce points. Okay? So he's got to produce points. He's got to be a 50-point scorer.
Yeah, and I think it helps this team a ton if he ends up being a quality player right off the bat. Like, that is the spot that you've been missing, is a quality top line center. Not saying Brady Martin is going to go out there and be Matthew Tkachuk right now, but
and you've got 2 other first rounders in the wings, and you've also got Matthew Wood, who's hurt to start the year. Another first rounder who's going to play, and he, by the way, a big kid.
Right.
Big kid. Can he play the center?
I think
they moved him to the wing.
I think he's on the wing, but I think he could if they needed him to.
But so you're starting to, because I talked last year when it ended that you still have a core with this team with Forsberg, Yossi, and Saros, but it's getting older.
Yeah.
And so you need that new core to start taking shape. And when you start talking about Wood and now Brady Martin and Tanner Mollendijk,
Andrew Gibson, who I know they're excited about.
And so you go, okay, let's see how these guys develop, because these aren't, I don't view, like, there have been other guys in the past. Who's the great big Swede that they ended up trading away?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He started last year, like, on the first, second line.
Yeah.
He didn't make it very long because he didn't produce. So they've had these guys who they hoped would produce, and they didn't, and they just moved on from them. They gave them their shot, and they said, okay, it's not going to work. We are moving on.
Right.
And so I don't think they look at those guys that I just talked about, those 4, as guys that they're hoping produce. I think those are guys that they expect to produce. And I think those
Juuso Parssinen, I think.
Juuso Parssinen, that's exactly it. And I think that those guys are the guy that you're looking to be the next core of this hockey team. I think they're counting on those guys to be the core of this hockey team. And I think Martin is the critical piece because he's the physical and emotional makeup that they want to be the linchpin to this thing down the road.
Yes. And you don't pick in the top 5 very often when you're the Predators.
No,
I believe it's only the second time.
Third
time.
David Legwan, Seth Jones,
right,
Brady Martin.
And now Brady Martin. Yeah. So you need him to be one of those key core pieces for you. I know they also really like their first round pick from last year, Igor Surin, who young Russian center, not going to be over for a while is what I've gathered. But that's another guy who, if you're looking at what this team looks like 5 years down the road, when Forsberg and Yossi aren't your key players anymore, that's the group that you're looking at. Quickly before we wrap up this Predators conversation, Dustin from Hopkinsville says, gotta sell Saros. He's the Tannehill of hockey, and too small. I hate it. He's not going to bring a Stanley Cup to Nashville. There's a lot of UC Saros is a very polarizing player. There are a lot of people who look at him and say that is a Vezina caliber goalie who can, you sign him to the 8-year deal and you feel like he is the guy who, if you put the team around him, can take you to the promised land. Others say they should have traded him 2 years ago before they signed the deal. This is a big year for UC Saros. They've tried to improve the defense in front of him with Haig and Perbix.
Well, they needed to. I mean, there were too many prime opportunities against Juice. And, is this year one of the 8-year deal?
Yes, it just went into effect.
Okay. You're not going to be able to trade
You're
that.
not getting rid of him at this point.
Nobody's trading for that.
It's if you wanted to trade him, you had to do it last year. And
you're married to it.
It's here now.
Yes. And so you got to play better in front of him. Look, last year was disappointing, but then they went to, what was it, Worlds after the season?
Yeah. And he was
great. He was great. So he's still got plenty of really good hockey in him. We talk about Titans. Who's the problem? Who's the solution?
Right.
I don't think Juice is the problem.
No.
Would I still like to see him play better than he did last year? Sure. But what was in front of him wasn't near good enough.
Right. I remember when Barry Trotz first came back, when he was kind of waiting in the wings behind David Poile, and we would talk to him about, what impresses you with this team? Because that was the team that made a run towards the end of the year with all the young guys and almost made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he said the goalie steals a ton of wins for us. Like that was the big thing, is that UC Saros, there were plenty of games where they weren't expected to win based on the way the skaters played, and UC Saros stole wins. There wasn't enough of that last year. You'd like to see more of it this season, but obviously it's like Cam Ward too, of like, yes, has Cam Ward not played well enough? Sure. But everyone else's performance affects what the goalie does behind them.
I think in Nashville too, we've gotten spoiled. I mean, whether it be Tomas Vokoun, even Dan Ellis in a stretch, and then, Pekka Rinne, of course, and Juice at points, all of them have played at an elite level and have stolen wins. I mean, Pekka stole more wins for this team than anybody in its history.
That's why he's got the statue.
Yes. And so, I mean, look, if you're going to be a cup level team, your goalie has to be able to steal you wins, and he has to show up in the playoffs. I mean, the guy down in Florida, Bobrovsky,
Yeah.
I feel like we don't talk about him all season, and then in the playoffs, he's a brick wall.
He stands on his head for a month and a half.
You've got to be able to do it when it's go time as well.
This is an interesting year for Nashville, because the outside expectations are not high, but you look at the talent on this team, and there's no reason why, if it doesn't click, they can't make, if it does click, they can't make it back to the playoffs. So we'll see. Season starts tomorrow.
Division's always really tough.
The Central is always going to be brutal, but they've got an opportunity to get off to a good start. They got Columbus and Utah at home to start the season.
3 points.
Getting some early wins under their belt, unlike what they did last year, would be huge. And tomorrow I'll be out there at Bridgestone Arena doing the show from there. Excited for opening night tomorrow over there on Broadway. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll take your thoughts on our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Going to get back into the Titans on the other side. What does the matchup with Las Vegas look like? Obviously, some very talented players on that Raiders roster, despite their 1-4 record. One of them may not be playing on Sunday. We'll talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Parker, continuing the theme here.
Yeah, I was in 8th grade when this one came out.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Back into the Titans here in the final half hour of the show. Chasing Big Joe coming up at the top of the hour. Titans, I always forget that Callahan sometimes speaks at the end of our show.
Yeah.
So if he does step up to the podium,
he's been late
before we get off. Yeah, every time we've said we might send it to him, usually he doesn't get up by the time we get off the air. But right now it says Wednesday, 11:50 a.m. Central Time. So if he does step up at 11:50, we will bring that to you live and then get it off to Chasing Big Joe after that. But the Titans getting ready for Las Vegas on Sunday, taking on the Raiders. I've said it ad nauseum this week. No back-to-back wins for the Titans since November of 2022. Trying to change that this week.
Yep.
You've got a 1-4 team that hasn't won since week 1.
Yep.
They just got blown out 40-6 by the Colts. And I did see just a couple of segments ago, Dan Graziano reporting that Brock Bowers could miss 1 to 2 more games with that knee injury. So you may not have to face the number 1 receiving threat for this Raiders team.
That's a big loss.
Still some really talented players for the Raiders, but that obviously makes things a whole lot easier for the Titans defense on Sunday.
Well, look, for me, if I'm the Titans defense, my sole mission is to stop Ashton Jeanty. I am stacking up and saying we are going to make Geno Smith beat us. Because Geno Smith has 9 interceptions in 2 weeks. All right. And if we make Geno Smith throw it 40 times, we're going to get our hands on at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
All right. That's just real. That's the plan. If Jeanty goes for over 100, it's going to be a tough day. Now, I think the Bears beat him and Jeanty went for like 160 or something like that. But Geno turned it over. Kevin Byard had 2 picks in that game.
Yes, both in the first half.
And so, again, that's where this game plan starts. It's stopping the running back and making the quarterback play quarterback and beat you. Geno Smith isn't the same terrible player he was when he came out. He has accomplished a lot since then, but he is struggling with this team and he is turning the football over, and you have to exacerbate that. You have to take advantage of it. The Titans are +1 in the turnover margin this year. They obviously had some help last week.
Yes, they did.
But you still got to get the ball. You still got to keep playing, get your hands on the ball. They kept playing, got their hands on the ball. I think that the huge matchup in this football game is Cedric Gray and Ashton Jeanty.
Yep.
Gray with 29 tackles in 2 weeks. He needs to be able to maybe not take Jeanty down, but he needs to hold him up till the cavalry arrives.
Yes. Let everybody else come help you, but you got to slow him down.
Yep.
Jeanty, the last couple weeks, he got off to a slow start this year.
They've changed his stance back to what he's comfortable with.
Yes. He had 40 yards from scrimmage in the first game, 44 in the second, 63 in the third. But in the last couple weeks, 155 against the Bears, and then 109 last week against the Colts in a 40-6 loss. So he has started to come around. He's going to be the focal point of that Raiders offense. Because, like you said, if you make Geno throw this year, at the very least, he's proven that he's going to give a couple away.
He's on pace to throw over 30 picks.
How many interceptions did the Titans have this year? Because they got 2 against Knicks.
Yeah. I see. I think Hook's got 1. Woods has got 1. Barton's got 1.
Right. They had the one against Stafford late in the first half.
So that's 3. I don't know if they've got 1.
Let's see.
Because I don't think they didn't get Daniel Jones. Did they get Stroud?
I don't think they did.
I don't think they did either.
They have.
So 3 might be it.
That might be it.
Woods,
and they
and
don't
Barton.
have any in the last 3 weeks, I don't believe.
But they've gotten the ball on the ground. And the other thing they've done is they've made plays in special teams.
Right.
Last week when Julian Minenson from News 2 and I were doing our show, and we do our keys to victory, we were talking about how the offense isn't good enough right now to count on them for enough points to win the game. So it's up to the defense and special teams to hand them points.
Yeah, we said hand them 10 points.
Yes, hand them 10 points. So we talked about that too.
Yep.
Yeah, hand them 10 points. They handed them points.
Right.
I mean, Chim DK handed them points. The defense got them the football, handed them points. And so they need to continue to do that while the offense catches up to speed. And part of that is turning the football over. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can continue on that track. That just because they won a game doesn't mean that needs to stop.
No,
they need another big game in special teams this week, another big play, and I'll say a big play on special teams and 2 turnovers on defense is what they need this week.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The offense did a nice job late in that game, taking advantage of what the defense was able to get you.
Yep.
But you can't just stop giving the offense good situations. And it is just 3 interceptions. Xavier Woods, Roger McCreary had 1 each in Denver.
Okay.
And then Barton. So it
wasn't Hooker.
There hasn't been an interception in the last 3.5 games.
Yeah, Roger didn't play a lot last game.
He did not.
They played a lot of Quandre Diggs.
Right.
And I wonder, and it's nothing against Roger, but if they think they're going to see a lot of Ashton Genty, you could see a lot more Diggs.
A little bigger.
Yeah.
And
in this one,
Kevin Winston did see the field on Sunday too, mostly on special teams, if not exclusively on special teams.
Yeah, I think they'll I'll probably guess it'll be the same this
week. But maybe slowly starting to work him in defensively. So it's a matchup the Titans can win. And like you look at you look at their schedule, and there are not a lot of games where you look at and you're like, yeah, the Titans match up pretty well on paper with that team.
Yeah, no, this is one of the games that's on the schedule. You're like, well, if they can play well,
right? If they
got a shot,
if they play similar to the way they did late in that game against Arizona, they could win this game by 10 points. Like the Raiders are not that good, but again, you have to do the things that helped you win that game against the Cardinals more consistently.
Well, and let's be realistic. The loser of this game is probably going to be the one that finds a way to lose.
That's a very good point.
I mean, because they're both 1-4.
Yeah.
We say about the Raiders. They're turning the football over. They're finding a way to lose. We've watched the Titans. We've watched them find a way to lose. All right. So whichever one doesn't find a way to lose will inherently likely find a way to win.
Yeah.
And so, eliminating mistakes is the first, big thing. Taking care of the football is a big thing. Cutting down on penalties, which has been a little bit better the last couple of weeks. Is good as well. Pass protection, and maybe that's one of the 2 biggest questions is handling Max Crosby, because he's a game wrecker,
right?
Can they keep him from just ending every drive?
And if you have J.C. Latham back, you'd think that would help. And we'll find out. Again, Brian Callahan going to speak to the media in the next 15 minutes or so, and I'm sure he'll have an update there. Chim Dike, I didn't see this, about 30 minutes ago, was named AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. He is the NFL's leader in all-purpose yards so far this year. That is heading into the year, Bones Fossil was saying that he doesn't know if he's ready for it, and a lot of fans were like, I don't know, do you keep James Prochet? Chim Dike has been an absolute bright spot for this team. Maybe not on the offensive side quite yet. They're trying to get him more opportunities, but on special teams, I mean, it's been almost every single game he's had one play that sets up the offense for points.
Well, the 2 things I like about Chim Dike, number 1, there's been no insecurity with the football whatsoever. Kickoffs and punts, it's all been clean. I'm not
right. Yeah, that's true. Knock on wood.
He's looked confident and clean catching everything.
Right.
The other thing is, and this is I'm not a return man. I am slow and have been slow my whole life, but I do know the key in the return game. And, Mark Mariani was an excellent returner for this team because he caught the ball, he planted his foot, and he ran straight. All right. The NFL is too fast. I mean, there's some guys who are anomalies like Dion who can zigzag the field.
Yeah.
But number 1, if you zigzag the field, you give the defense too much time to catch up to you. And number 2, you set your teammates up for blocks in the back when you start changing directions.
Yep.
Chim has done a very good job of going forward and just taking slight angled cuts to weave his way through the defense. So he doesn't slow down. He's still moving forward at a very high rate of speed because he's a very fast player. And so his return game has been really strong. I think his, like I said, catching the ball has been clean. And I think his plan for attack has been very, very good.
Yes, Chim Dike has been great. A breath of fresh air considering what we've seen in the return game over the last couple of years. 615-737-1025. Let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dustin from Hopkinsville is on the line. Dustin, appreciate you waiting. What you got for us today?
Good morning, guys. So my subject wasn't going to be Chim Dike, but I did want to touch on that a little more. Just imagine when we start consistently throwing this guy the ball, his elusiveness. Is he going to look like a Tyreek Hill? out there just
well, I mean, come on,
through and fast. I mean,
okay.
Let's hope he doesn't look like Tyreek Hill right now.
I like that. That's a really high bar, because Tyreek Hill was elite player.
Yes.
But can he be a guy who produces big plays for you? I think that can he be a guy who averages over 13 yards a catch for you? I think that's what you'd like to see. Can you get him in the secondary where if he can beat the safety, he's gone? I think
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, those are the situations you want to see him in.
Once he starts catching these balls in the secondary, he's going to be very, very slippery. And I think our explosive plays are going to be crazy. It's going to take heat off of Cam Ward because you can't bring that guy towards Cam Ward. You got to worry about Tim DK. You were just going to keep seeing these rookies elevate, and that's what's so promising. I love it. And another subject I want to touch on is Simmons. People don't realize, I don't think Simmons even realized, losing that 20 pounds. That quick jump where he got, what's his name, Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
What was it? How many points? So many seconds?
Yeah, that was C.J. Stroud.
That was C.J. Stroud the week before,
okay.
but he was also a holy terror last week.
Yes.
But he dropped that weight, and what people don't realize is not only did he elevate his game, he did that because he said, people are trash talking me on 102.5 the game, on the other 104.5 the zone. I'm done. I'm going to eat. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm not working out. And then they got all over him about not working out. And no, I did too.
He didn't work out with the team. He worked out on his own, which is what he does every year.
But, dude, whatever he did worked because what it did, it made every player on defense around him even better. Everyone's eating now. Like, he did it for himself, but it became a team thing on defense. I don't know if he realizes that, but that's what he did.
Well, when you're disruptive, when you blow up the center of the line, I mean, it's just like when a dam breaks. I mean, all the other pieces just kind of funnel in because you've got the whole thing's off balance.
Interior pressure is the hardest thing to deal with if you're a quarterback.
And also teams double and triple team him constantly. So he creates a lot of one-on-one matchups for your guys. And so ideally, you'd like to see those guys on the edges win more because they're one-on-one so much because Simmons is so good inside. And he did lose that weight. And one of the reasons he lost the weight is because he was close on sacks and not getting sacks. And he wants more guaranteed money after this year. And the way to get more guaranteed money is to get more sacks. So he needed to finish more plays. And he knew if I could be a quarter of a second faster on the pass rush, then that's the difference between a sack and a hurry or a pressure. And so far that's playing. I think he's got 3.5. I think he leads all interior defensive linemen in sacks and pressures this season in the NFL.
These big boys across from him, that little bit of weight, that explosiveness, it's the difference of 5,000 pounds hitting you and 5,500 pounds. They can't get to him fast enough. So even when they double team him, he's already running past.
And he also hasn't lost.
Going to get that money.
He hasn't lost the power either.
Right.
And that was the big question I have: is he going to lose some of the power? And he has not lost the power. He is still just an absolute bulldozer. And yes, I agree with you. At this point, he's going to get paid.
Yes. Thank you for the call, Dustin. Go ahead.
One more thing.
Yep.
Hey, so if Brian Callahan, no matter what they look like, breaks off 3 wins in a row and beats Vrabel, do you think he saves his job?
I mean,
we were talking about that during the break.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the easiest path for him to get off the hot seat quick is win the next 2 games. But
he's still the leader in the clubhouse.
I don't know if I want that to happen. I mean, that scares me to death. I don't know if I want that to happen, guys. But have a good day.
Yeah, you too, Dustin. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for quick ways for Brian Callahan to turn things around, it would be win this week and beat Mike Vrabel.
Do we have time for me to bring up one thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is important, and you can go ahead and disagree with me. I was disappointed last week when Brian was asked about his role with the team now that he wasn't calling plays, and that he said he was trying to feel his way around and figure out like where he fit in. I'm like, well, you're the head coach. You lead the football team. I didn't like that answer.
Right.
I watched him this week, and he is engaged with the referees. He's engaged with his defense. He's engaged. And I asked him about it on Monday. I'm like, you seemed way more engaged with everything. He doesn't have to worry about what the next play call is. So he is engaged with everything that's happening in the moment. And I think that makes a big difference. I asked Amani Hooker, could you tell the difference in how much the coach was engaging? He's like, absolutely, and it makes a difference. He's the leader of that football team. Whether you think he's the leader or not, he's the head coach of that football team.
Yep.
He has to lead the way. And I know some coaches call the plays. Some coaches don't. And if it makes him a more effective leader to be able to communicate with these guys because he's not worried about the next play call, maybe that makes them a better football team.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just saying what I saw was a coach who was in it. And I like that.
And you could tell the team wanted to win that game for him. Like that team never gave up on Sunday, and they were fired up to win that game. So Brian Callahan has not saved his job yet, but a win is a good start, and we'll
a win over Braves.
A win over Braves
would be big.
Would be a pretty big jump.
They're not going to be favored in that game. I got news for you.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll take one final break. We'll see if Brian Callahan gets up to the podium before we hop off, and we'll get out of here after this. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Final segment on this Wednesday. Next man up, 1025, The Game. Parker Kelly finishing strong on what has been an 80s Wednesday here on the program. Jake Lyman, joined by Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly.
I may come back next week.
Yeah, we might. Cory might have to come back.
Wow, that was great.
Always a pleasure having Cory on, talking Titans, Preds, college football, and again, he'll be back next Wednesday.
As I like to say, you're welcome.
To all of the fans out there, you're welcome.
But mostly to 1025.
Right. Always thrilled to have Cory on. Again, Teron Davenport going to join us tomorrow for his usual Thursday appearance. We'll have 3 hours with TD tomorrow. I'll be out there at Bridgestone Arena as the Preds start their season. And speaking of the Preds, Max Herr is going to be on the program from 9 to 10 on Friday. Brian Callahan has just stepped to the podium up at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. We will talk to you tomorrow. Chase and Big Joe are coming up right after Brian Callahan.
Along with winning, when you find a way to win, some of the individual accolades come along with it. So happy for Chim to get recognized for his performance so far. He's had a really good start to the season. As far as the Raiders go, another trip out west, another road game we got to go play, our third one in a row here. Excited about the challenge. They're a team that while record-wise doesn't look great, you can see exactly why they're in the spot they're in. They've had a tremendous amount of back-breaking turnovers that have put their defense in really tough spots. Teams have capitalized on that, but when you watch just the tape alone and you look at the scheme and the players, there's a lot of good things happening there. They look like a Pete Carroll team on defense. All those traits are starting to show up. Offensively, we know Geno's a proven quarterback in this league, and when he gets hot, he's tough to deal with. They got some young players that are pretty talented. And I think it's going to be a hell of a road test for us. Another team on the road that we got to go play well. And I think the running back Ashton Genty's starting to come on. You're starting to see his talent show up. We'll see what Brock Bauer's status is, but he's obviously a dynamic player. Max Crosby is probably one of the premier players in this league, so we have to have a good plan for him. It felt like he almost tried to win the Chicago game in the first half by himself. It was a remarkable performance. So he's somebody we got to be aware of, and he can certainly wreck the game. So got our hands full in a bunch of different spots and got to go play really well on the road again and try to see if we can get ourselves 2 wins in a row.
You mentioned Genty and the talent that he's shown. He's actually catching the ball out of the backfield. How impressive you've been with that, and how big of a test would that be for your linebackers and safety?
Yeah, it's a big test for us. They've started to run the ball better and better, I think, every week that's gone on. You see him getting more comfortable with the NFL speed and style and how you have to run in this league. He gets a shoulder square and he makes those vertical cuts into the defense, and he's pretty hard to bring down. He's a good back, so we got to be on it. We got to gang tackle. We got to wrap him up. We can't let him get going. It's all going to start by trying to get the line of scrimmage dented. So, but really good player. I mean, you see the talent. You see why he was picked where he was picked. He's going to be a really good player.
How's it looking for Latham?
Positive for him. We'll see how the week goes, but so far this week has sort of met the benchmarks necessary to keep pressing forward and hopefully get him some work at practice this week.
How's it only maybe done over the last couple of weeks filling in for him, and but knowing also JC help you if he can get back and play.
Yeah, JC's a huge help for us. Excited to have a chance to get him back, but Ole, I think, deserves a tip of the cap. I think he's filled in well for us in particularly the last 2 games. He's been physical. He's been stout. He's done what we've needed him to do from his job perspective. Happy with that. Happy to have a guy that we can rely on. And he's done a nice job for us.
How do you feel like the safety rotation has worked? Putting Diggs in certain nickel packages and the dime, and him playing alongside and going with that package as opposed to just simply Rodgers the nickel.
There's a lot of teams that do that. It's a big nickel package, where we throw. We've thrown it. Hook's done some big nickel, and then X has done some big nickel, and those are some things that you do on kind of base downs. Allows us to use those guys, their size and their tackling ability on first and second down. So it's strategic. It's not something that you do all game long, but there's bits and pieces that you got to use in your sub packages. So yeah, I think we're just trying to use all of our able bodies and try to put guys in position to help us use everyone we have up on game day.
I feel like Jihad's come along and does a track for more opportunity.
Yeah, he's certainly been a nice pickup. You know, he has. I love his demeanor. I love his attitude. I describe him as a glue guy. If you could, put a kind of a name on him, he just got a way about him. And then he's produced on the field. I mean, he's played well. And the more guys produce, the more opportunities they get. And then I'm sure he'll have some more opportunities to keep rushing the quarterback. He's done well, and I'm really happy we have him. And he's been a great addition for us on our defensive front.
I had asked you that Monday, so I apologize if that was repetitive.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did, actually.
I recall you saying glue guy.
Denard did.
On the instances where y'all have had trouble capitalizing on short fields offensively, have you seen a common thread of why that's been repeated?
Common thread. I mean, there's always. I think there's more common thread just in the ability to move the ball consistently. I don't know that it's necessarily a short field issue or a normal field issue. I think we're searching for more consistent play from top to bottom so we can keep moving the ball forward. I think we took some steps in the right direction, particularly in the second half of the Arizona game. We've had some drives that we've been able to move the ball, but we just need more. We were in much better down in distances against the Cardinals this past week, a little more manageable, stayed on schedule a little bit better, and looking for that to improve. That's probably the biggest issue for us when it comes to drives being stalled is spending way too much time in third and long. Those are really low percentage conversion downs. They've ended drives for us, and you get into the 3rd and 8+. It's just a lot harder to convert, and we haven't done a good enough job on third down in general. So that's where we're looking to improve. I think that'll allow us to have more opportunities to move the ball consistently. So staying manageable and then converting third downs is a huge emphasis for us.
I'm saying how much he wants to live in that 2-minute world, that hurry-up world. And then Nick Holtz yesterday, he talked about how that limits defenses as far as what they can do. Is there thoughts to kind of ramping that up a little bit more, not just in 2-minute situations, but running more tempo?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're one of the top handful of teams, maybe top 8, 9 teams in the league in terms of just on the ball tempo reps. Some of that's game situation. But it is something that we've done and we've continued to grow. It's stuff that we're always having in our package and we always have the ability to do. And, the more guys get used to doing it, the better we get at it, the more opportunities we'll have to continue using it. And it's been productive for us. I mean, we've had some pretty solid 2-minute drives over the course of the season. Cam does operate with some comfort in that. And I love no huddle football. I think it's great. I mean, I spent a lot of years doing it, some previous employment. So it's something that we're interested in, and that I think we have some ability to do well, and we've done quite a bit of it to start, and it's probably we can keep exploring those packages, keep finding ways to use it.
From your perspective and observations, like what is it about Cam that allows him to excel in those situations?
I think it's hard to probably pin all that down to one or two things, but there is some core concept things that go into it. It's things that we got a lot of reps on that we know well. There's something about tempo that does help kickstart the rhythm. There's something about that. It's always been the case. I think, there's teams are looking for some rhythm on offense or a spark. They try to jump the ball, and that can help. But I think there's a lot of things that make it just something maybe he's done quite a bit of in his college career over his stops. So those are all things that probably factor into it.
Sometimes that with Cam that he seems to throw balls that throwing the fastball, so to speak, when he doesn't really need to. Was that something that you saw a lot on his college tape that was something that needed to be worked on, or is that something that's just kind of cropped up here lately? Because we didn't really see a lot of that at camp. It didn't seem like.
Yeah, there's probably a lot lengthier detailed dive that I could go in. Just for sake of time, I won't. But I think in general, a lot of things happen for quarterbacks when their feet don't match sometimes with what's asked of them in progression, and sometimes they try to speed up. And so sometimes what you see Cam do is he tries to speed up a read or a throw because he's got so much arm velocity and he's got so much body torque, if you will. The ball can come out of his hand really hot. And that generally is where those show up, is when he's trying to either speed himself up or catch back up, or he sees a window and he just tries to fit it in there. You see the pure velocity he can put on the ball. Those are things that make it hard to catch. You want quarterbacks to throw catchable balls. There is a time and place for that style throw. And those are the things that we're just kind of continually working through. But there is some throws there that we can help and maybe make it easier for the receivers to catch.
Different city now and lots changed, but what goes through your mind, I guess, when you see the Raiders logo, considered your past and your dad's past?
Yeah, we got a lot of Raiders on our staff, a lot of guys that have spent a lot of time there. I've always, I was in high school and my dad was there. They had a lot of success over those years, and those were kind of my first. I was a fan. I was a fan of the team, and I was always excited to go. It was great environments to go play in when they were at the Coliseum in Oakland. Then I got a chance to go coach there for a year, and I have kind of fond memories, and that silver and black and those game days and some of the wins over the years when I was following along as a high school kid and spending time there. So yeah, great place, great memories for me overall. I had a chance to go work there as well, and then you got a lot of guys on our staff that spent a lot of years between Nick Holtz and Travis Smith and Tom Jones, and my dad's been there for a while, and I'm sure there's other guys, but we have some guys that have long histories there.
Is that a grudge match?
Generally not. No, there's, the faces change and there's a lot of things that are, everywhere's different after a couple of years. So certainly want to go win. That's that part of it, but not for there's no personal reasons there. I want our team to go 1-0 this week.
Your captains on these mornings, what do you get from that conversation, and maybe what's the dynamic, the way that they're open with you and honest with you?
Yeah, it's really productive, I think, for all of us, both from my perspective, getting information, things I might need to know, things that I can try to help with, things that maybe they have, they'd like me to address in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's as simple as a schedule tweak, or, hey, look, this is how the team's feeling today. It just helps me get a pulse from them on what the team is. And they actually have a lot of conversation amongst themselves, where I just sort of sit back and let them talk. I'll offer some thoughts on the theme for the week, or some messaging that I want to get ahead of and give to them, so they can carry that message as captains of the team. And they're really productive. It's just a chance for us to take 20 minutes on a Wednesday morning for the start of the week and check in, make sure we're doing the things we need to do. And but I think the coolest part to me is when I get to just sort of step back and hear them speak to each other about leadership, about where we are as a team, what we need to see from them. They've all really grown quite a bit too. It's been a fun process to see, and to hear them talk to each other, I think, is really the thing that I enjoy most about it. And it's productive. I'm glad we do it.
See that? All right, thank you. To see that pocket in the fourth quarter of good play from Ward, like, how promising is that, and what does that tell you about what he could do in the future and grow into?
I think it shows that what he's capable of. Every game is always different. There's always different opportunities, and one fourth quarter performance doesn't guarantee another or anything like that. But to see him go out and perform, like I said the other day, be at your best when your best is required, that was really positive. That's a great step. That's a big moment, I think, for his development as a young player. And now the key is going to be to get it. How do we do that from the start of the game? How do we play with that sort of efficiency and that sort of precision from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, and see what we look like then. But really happy for what he's shown and grown with, and to see that moment, a big moment, with the deck stacked against you, to come through and play well at the end of the game was really encouraging step in the right direction. Thank you.
That is Brian Callahan, Titans head coach. We will officially start Chasing Big Joe coming up next on 102.5 The Game.